Good morning, Swain Event crew. The new year is here and it's the 2022 East Tennessee real estate season. As I always do, I'm going to shoot straight with you. If you have a home to sell, then you need to give me a call ASAP. Inventory is low and I will get you the most money possible and more than you think trying to sell it on your own. If you are a seller that also needs to buy a home, you need to call me ASAP, as there are ways I can help you manage that situation and stay in your home until we find what you want. If you are looking to buy, you need to call me ASAP. You absolutely need someone on your side to help navigate the current waters, and you need someone that's going to do their homework and find homes that aren't on the market yet. Bottom line, you need to call me today ASAP. Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, 865-257-7897. If you are buying, selling, or considering investing in real estate this year, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. I hope to hear from you soon, and go Vols!
With smartphones being such an integral part of our daily lives, it is truly an inconvenience when it doesn't work properly. It disrupts the normalcy of our day. When you go into the cell phone store to have it repaired, they just try to upsell you on a new phone. That's why the owner of iDrop, TKL, left those places and opened iDrop. His goal is a happy customer. TKL and the team will listen to what you have going on and work to solve the problem of your broken device in a way that best suit your needs, instead of trying to upsell you on something that you just don't need. They don't just repair phones, they can service your laptop or PC as well as your Mac. Windows 7 support is over, but iDrop can help you transition to Windows 10. They have a 5-star rating on Google with hundreds of positive reviews. Let me say that again. I don't think y'all understand how big this is. They have a 5-star rating on Google. Their customer service really speaks for itself. So if you ever find yourself with a device that isn't performing as it should, give iDrop a call at 865-888-9740 or check them out on Facebook at iDrop of Knoxville. If man made it, they can fix it.
Deep down the middle's got his man, and he's gone. Jason Swain, touchdown.
It's time for the Swain Event with your host, Jason Swain.
My man.
Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him.
It's time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Give me 2 laps and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. It is Tuesday, best day of the week. 865-255-03 is our telephone number. Ben McKee, Jason Swain, live here from the Low T Center studio. It is another great day of college basketball, SEC basketball, a couple games today. Looking forward to in the stretch of conference play. Jockeying for position. A couple teams moved in the AP poll. Tennessee, one of those teams on the men's side, and in the women on the women's side. Both teams moved up. Ben, good morning, man.
Good morning. How are you?
Feeling good this morning. Slept like a baby. Actually slept a lot to where like I woke up at like 2 o'clock. I was like, hey, let's go. I woke up like Kawhi Leonard. Hey.
How does that work? How do you sleep a lot and sleep good, but wake up at 2 o'clock?
I think I went to bed like at 10, 9:30, 10.
So 4 hours is a lot and good.
I'm good this morning, man.
Well, I'm glad you feel well. I'm just intrigued by how you got there.
I'm good, man. Hey, 4.5 hours, I guess, was enough for last night. Maybe it was those parlays I've been hitting lately on Action 247. Maybe it's that.
Maybe so.
Well, this is what happened. So I put in my parlays last night, and waiting on the last one to hit, I fell asleep. And I think while I'm sleeping, I was thinking about it. And I woke up, and then I checked my phone to see, what happened. And I think that is what happened, man, because it was on my mind when I went to bed. So,
what teams did you rock with last night?
I went North Carolina -5 to cover the 5 points.
That is bold, brave of you.
Against Virginia Tech.
North Carolina not very trusty.
No, they didn't play well their last game, which is why I thought they would come out playing at home and they would have that sense of urgency. And it was close. I watched the game. It was close there in the fourth quarter, about 5 minutes left. Around that 4 or 5 point lead, and then North Carolina kind of poured it on and was up 12-14. It's like, yeah, baby. And then I took Ole Miss plus 8.5. Ole Miss plus 8.5. Not only did it cover, but they beat Florida by 16.
Another bold pick. Look at you hitting on all the bold picks. Those are some games that I would not have touched because
You taking Florida minus 8.5?
I would not have. If I would have had to pick, probably.
Yeah.
Ole Miss has looked awful the last couple of probably 2 weeks or so because they've been so banged up, and I would have taken Florida to cover just because of that. But interesting mid-weekish game for Florida. They play on Saturday, and then because of COVID, they have to make one up on a Monday and are traveling to Oxford and then are traveling to Knoxville. So interesting game to bet on.
Yeah, that's why I did it, man. It was out of the ordinary for Florida. They were without their best post player, and during the SEC this year, teams have just played better at home. I mean, they play better, and I just thought that they would find a way to cover that 8.5. So I picked them, and then since you was trying to throw jokes out on me yesterday about only doing 2-team parlays, I did a third one. And the third one was Texas Tech and Kansas. I picked Texas Tech to cover, I forget exactly how much it was, but that game went into double overtime, and I had fell asleep. I had fell asleep before the game was over, and it went into double overtime, and Kansas still won, but Texas Tech did cover. So that was my 3-team parlay, and another triple-digit win. Feeling good.
Look at you!
It is the fourth one.
Because of
7 days.
Because of me, you made more money last night. Added a third team in there, so you made more money.
Correct.
All because I was living rent-free inside of your head.
That's correct. Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
I guess that means you think I owe you a lunch of Daddy and barbecue.
I'll just take 5% of your earnings. So if you won, what'd you say, $100 last night, I'll take $5.
But you would rather have that than lunch of Daddy and barbecue?
Over the course of the week, yes, because I'm back to eating the way that I should be eating throughout the week. But on Saturday, I'd happily take up some free dead end barbecue out of your pocket.
All right, you got it, my friend. I don't mind hooking you up with a little dead end barbecue, man.
And see, I don't have dead end as much as I used to, not because of dead end, but because I moved further out. It's a little more of a trip for me. It's like going into town. I have to plan strategically what I do when I come to town. So I'm not 10 minutes away anymore. So I don't get
in Mayberry.
I feel like I live like in Asheville,
Mayberry.
like 2 hours away.
All right, baby, I'm about to go to town. You need me to pick up something?
That's exactly what happens. It's either her texting me and saying, "Can you pick this up on your way home?" or me texting her and saying, "I'm stopping here. Do you need anything?" Because I'm not coming back out here again.
When I used to go down to Alabama right before my grandmother passed away, eventually she did. We went to the funeral. There was a couple times we went down there, and so like the biggest city I could tell you where my folks live on my dad's side in South Alabama is, I could say, like Talladega, but it's really not Talladega. But everyone knows Talladega because of the Speedway, right? But then I got to say, like, the real town is not Talladega. That's all like in there with Lincoln, but the real little town's called Alpine, Alabama. And bro, being in my aunt's house, my dad's sister, no service. So me and my wife would have to like go literally to town to have service. And so we couldn't wait to make those trips to the big box store in town because we would have service. Like, so when we were down there a day or two, we were like, hey, about to go to town so I can send this text message. About to go to town so I can stroll my timeline. So, yeah, man. Yeah, you're not the same distance as you were, a couple months ago. But I got you for Dead End, man, because
I've been craving some Dead End. I will tell you that.
I got you, man. You were the inspiration of me hitting my huge parlay last night on Action 247. ATL VFL, any news on where the spring game will be? That's going to be
in Nashville.
I don't know if I want to be. I don't even know if I want to be in Nashville, man. You're not supposed to lose. You really ever lose spring games? I mean, we have been able to go through spring football here in Tennessee and not lose. But if we're doing this in Nashville, I'm pretty sure we're going to find a way to lose the spring game. Because Nashville has not been good on the gridiron.
Yeah, because the grass there at Nissan Stadium is terrible.
It's terrible.
So I'm sure somebody on Tennessee's roster will tear an ACL.
Shh.
As a result, knock on some wood.
Golly,
but not too loud so the dog don't start going off. But sounds like April 9th in Nashville.
He's more chill, man. Dog's more chill now. He's more chill. He's getting a little older.
Do you want me to knock loudly and test this theory? If he's anything like my dog, he'll think that somebody's at the door.
He's not barking, so it's
No,
good.
he probably didn't hear.
He heard it. He heard it, man. He can hear hundreds of miles away, it seems like. He can hear that, but he's chilling right now, man. He's sleepy. This is his sleep time. He's relaxing, chilling on his bed. He's a little bit older, more mature. He doesn't look young because he'll be 10 months tomorrow. He about between 75 and 80 pounds so far. Ace got big real quick. He got chest like a bodybuilder, man.
That's what you wanted. You're too weak of a human to take care of your own self, so you had to get a big old dog to take care of you for you.
That's right. Clinton says louder for the dogs in the back, Ben. Stop hyping Ben up, Clint. We don't need Ace to be barking and coming in here and doing all that stuff. ATL VFL says, is Gabriel Davis a good example to sell recruits? Yeah. Yeah. You can. I mean, I don't know how specific you can be. Like, this is the coach that really helped develop and recruit and mold this receiver. I don't know if you can say that, but hey, you can use Gabriel Davis. He was a receiver on the hype. Look what he's doing in the NFL. You certainly can use that. Don't see why not. Ben, you want to talk some recruiting, man? You want to talk some Tennessee football roster updates? You want to do that, man?
Yes.
Let's do that. 865-255-03. We'll take our first break of the day, and we'll come back and we'll talk about this Tennessee football roster. We got Tennessee basketball to talk about as well. We got Attaboy here in the first hour. We got touchdown turnover in the second hour. We got Austin Price coming on today. We got to talk recruiting, team football, team basketball. We got everything to discuss here on the Swain Event. NFL playoffs. Don't go anywhere. Ooh, the baseball team rankings. That came out as well. So we got a lot to talk about today. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
If you want to get in on the conversation, call the Iris Networks hotline at 865-200-5503. Grow your business with Iris Networks high-speed fiber internet. IrisNetworksUSA.com.
Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
When you start your own business, you know that branding can make or break a new venture. That's why Swain Event relies on 42nd Street. 42nd Street is a strategy agency focused on finding creative, open-minded, results-driven solutions to brand design. After over a decade of operations in East Tennessee, the brand architects at 42nd Street have the experience and creative know-how to ensure the success of your business branding, logo, web presence, and more. To see a real-life example of their amazing work, you can check out our website at swainevent.com. Don't trust the branding of your business to just anyone. Check out my friends at 42nd Street online at 42st.com or give them a call at 865-382-7007. 42nd Street, brand, strategy, design. If you're coming to Knoxville and need a place to stay, do yourself a favor and book a room at Hampton Inn Paper Mill, also known as the Hampton on the Hill. This award-winning property is literally in the top 5% of all Hampton Inn properties. The GM, Stephen Lawrence, is a good old local boy who grew up in the business around Knoxville. He and his staff are always available, always willing to help, and will go above and beyond for their guests. The newest Hampton Inn in Knoxville has clean, affordable rooms, flat screens, fridges, and microwaves in every room. Plus, breakfast is included in every rate. Not to mention, there's also a pool and fitness center on site. If it wasn't so close to amazing restaurants, bars, and shopping, you would never want to leave. At only 6 miles from campus, you're still right in where the big orange action is. Go to HamptonInn.com, search Knoxville, and book your room at the Hampton Inn Paper Mill or call 865-693-5400.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Man, I love it when a plan comes together. Ben, don't you like when a plan comes together?
Oh, yeah.
You got something planned out. You travel a lot for sporting events. You got to set a schedule. Traffic is a big part of it. Everything times out perfectly. I love it when a plan comes together. In this case, I love when we make points on the show, and then like events happen after we make these points that support the points. Oh, that's my favorite. Tennessee football roster got a little lighter in the last 24 hours. Chris Akprogane announced that he was entering the transfer portal. Appeared in 2 games. Redshirted in 2019. Then played 4 games, totaling 20 snaps, 12 on special teams, 8 on offense, and 4 appearances in 2020. His appearance in 2021 was against South Alabama. He was a redshirt sophomore this past season. So, did a spot open up? Yes. A spot will open up. The question is Zach Progane going to, finish his spring semester? That's the question I have. Or not. Tennessee is one of the schools that started their spring semester late. So there's a lot of schools around the country that it's too late to even join because they've already passed their drop add date. So that number may not show up until spring. But knowing that he's going to the portal, and I don't think he's a player, this is going to sound mean. But I'm not mean, okay? I'm not trying to be mean. I don't think he's a player where you say, all right, man, you're going to the portal, but hey, if you feel like this is the best place for you, man, you can always come back. I think once he opens and goes through that door, you got to kind of shut it on him on the way out. That sound mean, Ben? I try to say that nice as possible.
He's not Tyler Barron.
Okay.
He is, with all due respect, he is not an SEC offensive lineman.
Yeah.
He's been here, 4 years now? Played in 2 games?
I mean, he's been here since
he's been here a minute.
2019 class. So he's been here long enough to know if he can play this level.
4th year.
Yeah, he's been here long enough to know whether he can play here or not. He's not going to play here. This level was a little too much for him, and that's okay. It was not his fault that he got the scholarship. He didn't offer himself, so he took the best offer. He's from here, not blaming him at all, but now it's time for him to think about himself and play. And so in doing that, he needs to go somewhere else. And when he officially is not a student at UT anymore, then Tennessee will get that number back. And something to mention, Austin Price mentioned this on the locker room, that remember, in the SEC, if you transfer inside of the conference, you have to hit the portal before February the 1st. Today is January 25th. Now, I'm not saying that Akprogane is going to be going inside the SEC. He could. I guess he can go to Vanderbilt. I don't know. But I think that date is important. That is a wrinkle in the transfer portal rules that we have not spent a lot of time talking about. But, yeah, you got to make your intentions known by getting into the portal before February the 1st. So if you transfer or have any wishes of transferring inside the conference, you got to do that. So these next couple of days will be kind of fun to watch who makes those moves inside the conference. But so you lost Chris Akprogane, but then you gained one. And I'll take that trade-off. I'll take the trade-off, Ben. Don't be giving me that side eye.
I wasn't giving you a side eye.
I'll take the trade-off. Former Nebraska linebacker Jackson Hanna, who played at Montgomery Bell Academy, and he's going to be added to the roster as a preferred walk-on. So you're taking a former scholarship player, and you're adding him as a walk-on. This was said last week that the quality of walk-ons are different. If you pay attention to the amount of walk-ons that Tennessee's brought in, they're not your normal walk-ons. They're guys that have college offers other places. It may not be like Florida or Georgia or Mizzou or Kentucky, but they have offers to play college football somewhere else, and they're coming in as a preferred walk-on. So I'll let y'all put two and two together on that one. There's a plan, and the plan is not going to be put on billboards. It's not going to be pinned to the message boards. It's not going to be drawn out in crayon. It's not. How about James Pierce, one of the players that Tennessee closed with during the early signing period? Did he get bigger? Did he get faster? Did he get stronger in the last couple of weeks, Ben? Did he take some of that Spider-Man serum?
I guess
I mean,
so.
He went from a 4-star to a 5-star from On 3 Sports, man. Got a little bump. Got a little boost, so now he's a 5-star. How about that, man? Tennessee didn't recruit a damn 5-star.
Good for Tennessee.
How about that? How about that? Tennessee got themselves a 5-star. It doesn't change how you feel about the finish and James Pierce, a player. You know, he's a damn good player. Now you see why people were excited about him, why Tennessee was excited about him, why people felt like Tennessee closed strong in recruiting. Because here's On 3 Sports, who thinks this young man's a damn 5-star. What a steal. What a steal. Pretty sure the NIL had nothing to do with that. Pretty sure.
The rankings bump?
No, him signing with Tennessee.
Yes, I'm sure. Just
sure.
Tennessee just can't do anything right when it comes to NIL.
Sure, that had nothing to do with that. But for some folks, it got to be, drawn out in crayon. It got to be put in bold with the font 245. So I'm gonna tell you what's going on. I'm gonna share what's going on most of the time. But you gotta pick it up. So look at those roster moves. Subtle roster moves that improve the roster, given the hand that you were dealt. And then you go out and you show that the signing of James Pierce is actually bigger than what it really was. Like, people inside the building understand, like, how good of a player James Pierce is and can be here. But I think other folks that saw James Pierce by simply looking at the rankings maybe didn't get as excited because he was just a 4-star. Well, the former 247 staff, now at On 3, most of the same people have James Pierce as a 5-star. So take that for what it's worth.
Take that for data.
Ben, thoughts on those roster moves, those transactions? I mean, it is free agency. So your thoughts on free agent moves for Tennessee?
They're nice. They're nice moves. I don't think that they are going to be the difference in Tennessee winning an extra game this upcoming season. And I would be surprised if the tight end that Tennessee got from Central Florida or Jackson Hanna, the linebacker from Nebraska. I'd be surprised if they had prominent roles right off the bat on their side of the ball. But where it really helps is on special teams. Jackson Hanna played in all 12 games for Nebraska this past season, and it was on special teams. So this will certainly help special teams. And as we saw in the 49ers-Packers game, and we saw in plenty Tennessee games this year, special teams is legitimately a third of the game. I think people forget about the importance of special teams quite often and needing to be strong in that area. The Packers were weak on special teams all season long, and yes, the Packers offense only scored 10 points, but hey, the defense held the 49ers to 6 points. and the Packers mainly lost, in my opinion, because of its special teams. So I feel like this is where it will help Tennessee the most right off the bat. And I do think the tight end from UCF will have a better chance at a more prominent role on his side of the ball, just because I do think Jacob Warren and Princeton Fant had a pretty nice season, solid season in general, but I think that position could be better in terms of blocking and in the run game. Princeton Fant didn't have a good season, solid season in general.
I'm still mad at the Music City Bowl.
I know you are. Still steam coming off your head from the Music City Bowl. But even Princeton Fant in that game had a play or two that helped Tennessee have a chance to win. Well, it wasn't his best game, but he still made a couple of plays at least.
Wasn't the last play.
Was not on the last play. That is for sure. But I like these moves for those reasons. With Chris Akprogane, I mean, quite honestly, it's a good thing for Tennessee. It opens up another scholarship. I mean, he was not going to play unless the offensive line room was ravaged with injuries, or unless who knows what the COVID situation will look like in September, October. But if the offensive line room got wiped out due to COVID for a game for some strange reason, that's how he would play. So I hate that it didn't work out, because he went to high school here, and it would have been a really neat story. But to be frank, I mean, he's not an SEC offensive lineman. Yeah. And he wasn't going to play anytime soon, and it was just taking up a scholarship spot. And Tennessee can use that spot to now go out and get a transfer receiver or two, a running back, any type of defensive player.
Any type.
Yes, just any type of defensive player.
Please.
Multiple positions if need be. Another offensive tackle, offensive lineman. So I hate that it didn't work out with Chris Akprogane, but it's not a bad thing for Tennessee that he has entered the transfer portal. Wish him the best, certainly.
I mean, you can look at it as like a trade. I mean, really, it's not like a trade. Akprogane for Jackson Hanna, because one is not going to count toward your scholarship numbers because they're going to be a preferred walk-on. But in terms of like this conversation and the responsibilities on game day and the production that you can get on game day with this swap out, Chris Akprogane doesn't play multiple special teams units. I mean, I think he might be on like field goal or field goal block, if that. But when you get a linebacker, a guy like a Jackson Hanna, you put him on special teams. And you can put him on more units. You put him on punt return, kickoff return, kick off. You got good hands team. Like, you can put him on more units of special teams. So there's very subtle changes that Tennessee is making, subtle upgrades that Tennessee is making. And it's kind of easy to see. The level of walk-on is different. And I'm one that I'm not going to sit here and give the walk-on, the top page of the newspaper and pass. But look at the walk-ons that Tennessee have added. These guys are not normal. They're not just local kids who didn't have any offers at all to play at the next level. So you combine that with the strong finish in recruiting. You combine that with the transfer portal and the plan to get in there, after spring. I'm looking forward to seeing where this roster eventually gets to when it comes to the fall.
Yes,
that's when it matters.
Yes, and I hate the process that Tennessee is having to go through to get there because of Jeremy Pruitt, but it is what it is. It just is what it is, and although it is a frustrating process, especially when you look at Arkansas and South Carolina and LSU, new coaches or coaches that are going into their second and third year, and they are able to continue to flip their roster and improve their roster. Florida has made some nice additions in the transfer portal. That is what they are doing is what we thought Tennessee was going to be able to do. But we've been slapped in the face the last week or two with the reality that because of the previous coaching staff, Tennessee can't right now. They will be able to soon, and hopefully they will be able to take full advantage like these other schools are doing once that time comes, following, I guess, spring practice or at the conclusion of the academic school year. And I do think that Tennessee will take advantage of the portal when it is able to. I mean, Tennessee is an attractive spot right now. We definitely know it is on offense. And then on defense, I mean, you can sell playing time. And especially with some of these transfers that only have a year left, they want to go somewhere where they can play. And if you are a defensive player and you are transferring to Tennessee, you can play right away. And that is very attractive on top of playing in the SEC, on top of playing at a historic program, on top of playing for coaches who, for the most part, have a good rep. Tennessee is attractive, and I think when they are able to, they will be able to take full advantage of the transfer portal. But it is frustrating in the meantime, and, the emotional side of me is thinking, oh, I just hope that there's good players available, because you've seen a lot of good players obviously enter the portal and transfer to some of these other SEC schools. But I keep reminding myself that guys will become available after the spring. And there are some guys that aren't making decisions until after the spring, like the Vanderbilt offensive lineman, Steen. I'm forgetting his first name off the top of my head. But he is in the portal. Entered it a couple of weeks ago, Tyler Steen, I believe, and it looks like he's going to make a decision post spring, and I think he is somebody that Tennessee definitely has interest in and would like to bring in if it works out. So they're going to be able to go out and get some guys when the time is right. It just stinks that. I mean, it feels like the tortoise and the hare story.
Well, I mean, I think it stinks because it feels like you're missing out. It feels like you're on the sideline while everybody else can participate. And on one hand, I get that. On the other hand, when you understand that, like, there's communication going on with staffs and players who are not in the portal all over the country. One of the biggest things that coaches have mentioned about the transfer portal is that there's tampering going on. Like, everybody is tampering. And there's no way to regulate it. There's no way to enforce any penalties. Like, how do you find out? Like, how do you find out that someone's tampering? You can't. So there's tampering going on. So there's guys that are not in the portal that are communicating with coaches around the country. I'm sure we have players on our team that have communicated with other coaches, other squads. So, those things, they're taking place. They're taking place. So that's why I look at us, adding just one so far. Now look at Arkansas that's added 6. You mentioned South Carolina. You mentioned Florida. We're not in the same position as them as far as numbers because of Pruitt. And it feels like you had a $10,000 credit card limit and you maxed out the card and you are in the last 3 months of paying it off completely. That's what it feels like, because Tennessee has another 2-3 months before you truly get that weight lifted off your shoulders and be able to add players to this roster and satisfy what you have kind of self-imposed or told the NCAA that you're going to do as far as the scholarships in your first year. So, yeah.
It just sucks because it is 1,000% a disadvantage. Tennessee is behind the 8 ball, and it's not anybody on this coaching staff's fault. It's not. Tennessee is at a distinct disadvantage. Like they had, I don't know that we can say that they had a head start on somebody like South Carolina and Sam Pittman. He's already been there for a year. Eli Drinkwitz hasn't made any splashes in the transfer portal. They've picked up a couple of transfers, but nobody that really stands out. But I mean, this is put Tennessee behind the 8 ball. And if Tennessee did have a lead on South Carolina from what it was able to do throughout the regular season, it feels like this has been an equalizer. And even with the other schools, I mean, LSU, this has been an equalizer for the LSU game this upcoming fall. I was feeling good about that game to a certain extent 3 weeks ago, a month ago, after the season ended, and now Brian Kelly has come in and picked up a ton of great transfers, and that game certainly looks different, while Tennessee's roster, it's been upgraded, but they haven't been able to upgrade it to its fullest potential because of things out of their control. And it really feels like the tortoise and the hare story, to where the Tennessee is the tortoise, and it's just going to have to take its sweet time and make sure that it does everything properly along the way, because Tennessee is facing a disadvantage that literally nobody else in the SEC is having to deal with.
Yeah, for right now.
All these other newish coaches in the league have not had to deal with this. Sam Pittman, Brian Kelly, Shane Beamer, Eli Drinkwitz, Billy Napier, who looks like he's about to land a 5-star linebacker, the number 2 overall player in the country.
Yeah, he decommitted from Texas A&M.
I guess folks won't be laughing at Billy Napier's comments anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we said Billy Napier's going to be okay.
Yes, but got to get that social media clout. But like all these newish coaches in the SEC did not have to deal with any restrictions or anything holding them back as they attack the transfer portal. And unfortunately, Josh Heupel in Tennessee has, and it's put them behind the 8 ball. It just is what it is, and hopefully Tennessee can really hit on its evaluations in the spring with new guys that enter the portal and with guys that are in the portal and not making a decision until after spring.
Yep. Checking out YouTube chat. Go Big Orange from Jason Young. Another question: are we becoming preferred walk-on you? No. I mean, everybody adds preferred walk-ons in their program. Everyone does it. I mean, there's kids that want to play at a school that didn't necessarily get an offer, and they want to be a part of that football team. So every college has preferred walk-ons. We're not preferred walk-on you. We're just getting better walk-ons than we have in the past. And that's part of maximizing the hand that you're dealt the best way that you can. So that is that. And then Willard, I'm not understanding the question there. Josh. Tennessee can replace transfers up to 7. So the guys that you lose, you can replace. You can add guys from the portal up to 7. Tennessee has signed a class of 20, and 14 early enrollees started class yesterday, and that is significant. That is significant.
Yep, we mentioned it the other day, the list that is, and those transfers are included on the list of people who enrolled yesterday, and that list includes, I'll start with the scholarship players first, the freshmen, the ones that signed: Mo Clipper, Brian Grant, Elijah Herring, Taven Jackson, Cameron Miller, Addison Nichols, Chaz Nimrod, Jordan Phillips, Caleb Webb, Tyree West, Marquarius Squirrel White,
my man,
Desmond D. Williams. Should add a Z to his D and go by Desmond D's Williams.
That'd be hilarious.
Maybe I can name my kid that. D's McKee.
You could, and you should.
I'll run that by the wife when I get home. And Justin Williams, and then the preferred walk-ons / transfers that Tennessee has added. Gerald Mincy, the Florida offensive lineman, is here. Charlie Broder, the tight end from UCF and originally from Kingsport, he has arrived. Jackson Hanna, the walk-on linebacker from Nebraska, from Montgomery Bell Academy there in Nashville that we just discussed, he has arrived. Navy Schuler is here after transferring from Appy State. And then tight end Titus Roher from Bryan, Ohio.
So those are all the folks who are here for the spring semester.
18 newcomers.
Yeah, and that 14 number of scholarship players from high school, that's an awesome number, because remember in 2014 when Tennessee brought in Jalen Hurd and that group, a lot of those guys played as freshmen, but they were not normal freshmen because they had the spring, they had the summer, they got used to being a student athlete. They played faster as a freshman. They looked like sophomores out there because of the spring semester. That's what these freshmen will have a chance to do. So we were operating in the low 70s to answer Willard's question. Looks like about the numbers. Tennessee could tell NCAA cut back and still have 8 or 10 spots. Look like they're going to play with 70 to 75 players again. There's 5 or 6 left during the season that you should replace. Now, Tennessee is going to play with in the 80s. Again, Willard. Again, Willard. This year, I'm going to say this really slow. This year, Tennessee played with low 70s. We were in the low 70s. Why were we in the low 70s? Because we told the NCAA, this is a scholarship reduction that we're going to take. We are going to play in a bowl game. Jeremy Pruitt got caught red-handed. It was so bad that we fired everybody on site. That's how bad he got caught. It was red-handed. It was bad. You don't need to know details. Just know it was bad. It's the reason why everybody got fired. We played in a bowl game. When you go look at the penalties that the NCAA has handed down in the past, there's only 2 things that really hurt you. It is going to a bowl, or being that being taken away, and scholarships. So Tennessee was like, listen, we're going to a bowl game. We're not punishing our players who didn't even have anything to do with it. So Tennessee made the decision to say we're going to a bowl game. The other thing that hurts you from the NCAA when you get hit with sanctions are scholarships. So since we went to a bowl, we said, all right, we will self-impose some, a couple scholarship reductions. And then some other little things with eval time and coaches on the road, nothing that Tennessee can't overcome. You already played the season with low 70s. You already won 7 games. You already exceeded expectations. Now, you just have to wait a few more months until the academic year completes and is finished. Now you're able to add players in the transfer portal. So Tennessee added 20 players, high school players. 13 will be early enrollees. The other 7 will be here. Now, when you look at players who are leaving, graduation, transfer portal, whatever, you're going to be back in the low 80s. Depending on who leaves, you'll be able to replace those players up to 7. So Tennessee will be operating in the 80s next year. In the 80s. It may be 82. It may be 83. It may be 85. It may be 84. I don't know, because I don't know who's going to enter the portal. Who will Tennessee be able to get out of the portal? I don't know. They don't know. We don't know. But Tennessee would have fulfilled their self-imposement when spring ends. So that is as clear as I can make it and as detailed as I can make it. And I don't know if anyone else is breaking it down that way, but that is where we are right now. If you need any more explanation, Willard, go back and listen to Friday's show, the whole hour on it. It was a whole show on it, okay? So there's information available to help you understand. You can choose to educate yourself, or you can just keep popping off a bunch of nonsense that's inaccurate. You can do whatever you want to. Let's go to the phones.
We've got Dave Tona.
Ooh, Dave Tona. First phone call of the day. Dave Tona, what is up?
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
What's up, Dave Tona?
Greetings.
Hey, listen, I think that we need to start a hype train.
For what?
For being the number 1 team in the country for preferred walk-ons.
In men's tennis?
Men's football. I'm just kidding. So, tell me something. Here, but honestly, this is how we should feel. Okay, you know when you were in like elementary school and kickball games or dodgeball games, and there's a captain and then another captain, and you can only have X amount of players, and you're picked like last or second to last. You're thinking,
yeah,
dang it, there's a whole lot that's got to happen before I could even get into this.
I never had that problem.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I've seen on the people be picked last, but I had my cowboy boots on in elementary school, so I was always picked first in kickball.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was never picked last, but that's just an example, and Ben's just exaggerating his athleticism.
You ain't got to lie. It's okay.
But, so tell me something seriously. What is the difference between a preferred walk-on and a walk-on? Do they, like, get an extra piece of cheese on their burger or an extra piece of pizza or a juice box? I mean,
preferred means you're invited. You're invited.
Oh, okay. Okay. But you still pay your way, right?
Still,
they don't help any way with a preferred in front of it?
Correct.
A walk-on has to try out. A preferred walk-ons typically have scholarship offers from lower level schools, and a school will tell this player, like, hey, we can't put you on scholarship, but if you come here, you're guaranteed to have a spot. You don't have to try out for the team like a regular walk-on.
Oh, okay. So let me see if this is a good example. So if Ben was still young enough to play baseball, and
about the time you root for
say Bobby's University wanted to give Ben a scholarship, but they couldn't because he wasn't good enough. But they would just give him the preferred walk-on status just to make him think he was as good as he thought he was? No. Just makes you feel a little better?
So preferred walk-on, using Ben as an example, would be, so if Ben had scholarship offers to play at UAH, Alabama, University of Alabama, Huntsville, full ride, things like that, and then Tony Vitello was like, hey, we want you to be a part of this roster. We just don't have any scholarships. Let's say baseball gave full scholarships. And Tony Vitello was like, hey, I want you to be a part of this roster, and but we just don't have any more scholarships. Ben would be considered a preferred walk-on because he was invited by Tony Vitello, and he doesn't have to go through all the normal tryouts that a normal walk-on would have to go through. There's times during the year where the football staff, and it's not really like the entire staff where the on-field coaches, it's a member or two of the staff that hold walk-on tryouts, and these occur in the complex. And then from there, guys are selected to be part of the football team or not. But the people that were invited to be preferred walk-ons, they're treated like scholarship players, except for they don't get a scholarship. So
yeah.
That's
and I was just messing with Ben. He'll be mad at me for the next 3 days, but
no, he not mad. He just didn't think the joke was funny.
I'm used to you swinging and missing.
he was just a miss.
Dude, that was your baseball career, not mine.
Okay, that was a good comeback.
That was good. That was good.
But in all honesty, Ben, I would like you to do something for me, and you can.
I'll decide.
Let me do it. However, I would like to get something for the baby. So let me know something that you and your wife would like in it. It could be something pretty nice.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. We'll get up about that.
Okay. All right, guys. Y'all have a great day, and just remember that I do appreciate y'all. Y'all bring a lot of joy to my life, especially at this point in my life.
Thank you, Daytona, man. We appreciate it.
We appreciate you, my friend.
You got to get a baby carriage out of Daytona, man. You got to get the baby crib. You say you want to get something nice, you got to get the baby crib.
My wife has already ordered a crib. In fact, it is supposed to be here tomorrow.
Oh, great. You going to put it together?
No. I'll wait till the father-in-law comes in town and he can put it together.
Oh, yeah. Milk that while you can. 865-255-03 is our telephone number.
But I'm sure my wife will want it to be up by the weekend. She works this weekend, so I'm sure she'll say, hey, why don't you put up the crib this weekend?
Go ahead and do it. Go ahead.
Because the baby's not coming for another 7 months.
Go ahead and do it. You got to be prepared, man. You got to be prepared.
I guess 6 months now, since we're at the end of January. 6 months from Thursday. If it comes on its due date, which... Does the baby ever actually come on the due date? I don't think I've ever heard of a baby actually being delivered on the due date.
None of mine was. Which means your baby is going to be born on July 27th.
I hope not.
865-255-03. Stay with us. Be right back. Hour 2 around the corner.
this day and age, the way we work is changing and evolving. Businesses still moving forward despite your work location changing and supply shortages affecting a number of different areas. Office furniture is not immune to the halt in the supply chain. This is why Office Furniture Outfitters has purchased desks, chairs, and tables in bulk to provide you with in-stock options for your place of business, no matter if it's in an office building or at your house. Office Furniture Outfitters is the local supplier for Herman Miller, and they keep Aeron chairs in stock. They will come to your office, lay out, and make recommendations. No project is too big or too small. You can visit them on location at 17th Street and Grand Avenue in the Fort Sanders area, or online at ofonox.com, or give them a call at 865-524-3003. Office Furniture Outfitters, providing East Tennessee's biggest selection and best value for office furniture since 1995.
Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
Hey there, Swain Event fam. I've been thinking about other ways I can assist you with the real estate world. As you know, it's not just about buying, selling, and investing in new property today. It's also being a resource when you need a contractor or roofer. Or maybe you need a real estate attorney to assist with probate questions. Or maybe you have a family member in Alabama that needs a realtor to help them sell their home and get the heck out of there and back to Tennessee. All of these things and more are in my wheelhouse. So give me a call, Jennifer Morris, 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. And go Vols!
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Touchdown or Turnover is backed by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, a place where you belong.
Touchdown turnover back by Alcoa 10 Federal Credit Union, the place where you belong. Better rates and better service. It is time for a little true false. We're going to NFL. I'm going to talk about the GOAT, Tom Brady. His last comments, man, it sounds like he's about to go home. It sounds like he is about to go spend some family time. I've never heard Tom Brady sound the way he sounded his previous comments on his podcast. Wow.
Yes, he did not mince words at all. And he was quick after the game to remind folks, the media members, that is, that he is not at all thinking about his upcoming decision.
It's chill time. Yeah, it's chill time. It's chill time for him and his family. And when it's time to get to work, then he goes full speed. Helmet in the backyard, got a personal trainers on the beach. He goes. It's a lot that goes into preparing for a season in the NFL. So he needs to take that break and figure out mentally and emotionally, is he ready to check in? Is he ready to give it all that he has for another season? And he's going to need time to figure that out. But touchdown turnover, do you think Tom Brady returns next season?
Turnover. And based off of the first thing Google says when you Google Tom Brady and you hit on the news tab, Tom Brady addresses retirement talk. It pains Giselle to see me get hit. No, Tom Brady will not be playing next year solely because of his wife.
It has pained his wife to see him get hit ever since they got together. She's felt that way the entire time.
As it should be. I don't feel like you're a very good wife if you enjoy seeing your husband, who is an NFL player, get hit.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it's nerve-wracking.
I'd look at her sideways.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking every single play, every single game for her. But his kids are getting older, and you're missing that time.
And he has said that retirement makes sense.
It's just hard for me to believe that he is not going to retire after winning a championship. I think with the injuries that happened on offense this year, it was hard for him to overcome. And then with the injuries on the offensive line, it was just hard for him to overcome all that and to get back to the Super Bowl. But this team is good enough with some reloading, as Bruce Arians said. They'll be right back in the situation with Tom Brady as a quarterback. I just think that Tom Brady is going to try to take another crack at winning the Super Bowl by actually getting in the Super Bowl before he retires. I'm going to say turnover, man. I don't think he retires. I think he's thinking about it more now than ever before, but I am going to say turnover. He doesn't retire this season.
It just sounds different.
He sounds different. You're right, man.
His tone is different than it has been the last couple of years. I mean, there's always been like no hesitancy in his voice. Man, if he comes back, I think he'll like come out and say like, "Hey, this is my last year," and do like one last dance, one last ride, and allow everybody to celebrate him throughout the course of the season. And I think he deserves that.
Man, you can make the case that he deserves to be the MVP. He gonna retire after playing at an MVP level?
He said, "I really think I can play as long as I want. I really do. I could literally play until I'm 50 or 55 if I wanted to. I don't think I will, obviously. My physical body won't be the problem. I think it'll just be, I'm just missing too much of life with my family."
That is strong words right there.
Yes, those are strong words indeed. That's why I think he'll either hang it up, and I know you asked about if he's done now, but I'll say that yes, he's done now. I'm not too confident, as you can hear in my voice, but I definitely think it's either now or one more year. And that is a completely different tone than it has been in the past, because it's always been about playing until he's 50. He's always talked about playing until he's 50, if not longer. And he's been serious as serious gets about it. And now there's doubt creeping in about whether he wants to continue playing because of his family. So if this wasn't his last year, I guarantee you next year will be.
No, I agree. I think next year will be possibly his last year. Yesterday I felt like he was going to play 2 more years, but really listening to those comments and letting it marinate, it might be just 1 more year if we get that. The transfer portal. Y'all, wait till you hear some of the details about where we are with the transfer portal, what some of the coaches around the country think about the portal. The numbers, the percentages will blow your mind. We will cover that when we return from our break here at the top of the hour. 865-255-03. Ben McKee, Jason Swain. Hour 2 is brought to you by Action 247, Tennessee's only legal sports book. Use the promo code Swain Event for 100% match on your first deposit up to $800. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere.
While the other guys are taking guesses, the Swain Event is taking you behind the scenes and in the huddle every morning from 7 till 10 right here.
Fellas, when it's time to freshen up that wardrobe, there's only one play to make, and that's to go see my friends at Mark Nelson Denim in downtown Knoxville. Find the latest in small batch denim in the heart of Knoxville. Denim isn't all they do, though. Mark Nelson also does custom suiting and blazers. Let your personal style shine with Mark Nelson. If you don't have time to go shopping for yourself but still want that fresh look, then sign up for the NN Society. Let the experts handle the shopping and get $300 worth of merchandise for just $150 every other month. That's 6 times per year to keep you looking styling every day. Let Mark Nelson Denim help you be the best you, because when you look good, you feel good. Go to marknelsondenim.com. When you start your own business, you know that branding can make or break a new venture. That's why Swain Event relies on 42nd Street. 42nd Street is a strategy agency focused on finding creative, open-minded, results-driven solutions to brand design. After over a decade of operations in East Tennessee, the brand architects at 42nd Street have the experience and creative know-how to ensure the success of your business branding, logo, web presence, and more. To see a real-life example of their amazing work, you can check out our website at swainevent.com. Don't trust the branding of your business to just anyone. Check out my friends at 42nd Street online at 42st.com or give them a call at 865-382-7007. 42nd Street, brand, strategy, design.
More and more Tennessee businesses are switching to Iris Networks for reliable, local, high-quality, high-speed business fiber internet. Iris provides direct internet access from 10 megs to 10 gigs with no payments for 90 days. Iris also offers next-generation business phones with work from anywhere capability from the mobile or laptop app. With local sales, support, and service, Iris is a partner in the community. Learn more at irisnetworkusa.com or call 865-448-IRIS. Iris Networks, a Tennessee business connecting Tennessee businesses.
Litter is a big problem in Tennessee, but together we can do big things. We can make our cities, our waterways, our roads cleaner and safer. The Tennessee Department of Transportation is committed to reducing litter in our communities, but we need your help to do it. There are over 100 million pieces of litter in our roads at any given time, and it costs TDOT about $19 million a year just to clean it up. The first step to keeping Tennessee beautiful is to rally behind these 3 simple words. Nobody trashes Tennessee. Join the Nobody Trashes Tennessee movement at nobodytrashestennessee.com.
You don't have to take an L just because you can't listen to the Swain Event live. You can catch up on the podcast posted daily on the app, online, and on iTunes.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. When you see these transfer portal numbers, it will blow your mind. Blow your mind. Brandon Marcello, 247 Sports, put out an article a couple days ago, and he talked to some college coaches around the country about the portal. Some very powerful quotes here. One Power 5 assistant coach said, there's so much change, I don't know where to start. You feel sorry for all these kids that won't get a chance to get a degree because they entered the portal with nowhere to go. For every star like Caleb Williams, who was the number 1 overall recruit in 2021, there are 3 others left in the cold. Nearly 3 out of 4 Power 5 players who enter the portal, and this was from the 2019-2020 cycle, nearly 3 out of 4 players who played at Power 5 schools and entered the portal did not land at another Power 5 program. And nearly half, 47.2%, did not find a new home or fell to the FCS or junior college ranks, according to the numbers compiled by 247 Sports. Only 37.8% of FBS scholarship players landed at another FBS school. Woo! One coach says, everyone is tampering. We all do it. At this point, it's like going 65 miles per hour in a 55. What are you going to do with it? There needs to be parameters. NFL free agency starts and ends on certain dates, and we need to do that with the portal. That's number one. They have to protect kids from themselves and make it fair for our rosters because it's impossible the way it is set up today. So you have to sprint and deal with the crap the way it is. If you're Tennessee or any program in the country, there's major changes that need to happen, but you got to deal with those changes. And the NIL plus the transfer portal makes it a whole lot harder, but you got to just handle it until there's some type of regulation, until there's some type of rule change. But one veteran assistant coach says, glad I am at the end of my career. This ish is getting crazy.
Pretty much. Why I have said numerous times that I would rather be in the NFL than in college if I were a football coach.
Yeah. And this is why I said the coaches who are authentic, the coaches who are real, the genuine coaches that care about their players, those are the coaches that will survive, that will be able to attract players to their program and limit a mass number of players leaving their program. If you are a fraud, it's going to be easy to tell. It's going to be easy to tell. So I think that is happening. I think there's a reason why guys are going to Arkansas. Arkansas is you got Arkansas, you got Shane Beamer. I haven't heard one bad thing about them as people. As people, not one bad thing. And I think they're benefiting in the portal because of that. But yeah, these numbers are crazy, man. Like 3 out of 4, almost 3 out of 4 guys that go into the portal don't really find a place.
I figured that was the case. I didn't think it would be that big though. Like it's not surprising to me that the numbers indicate that players who enter the portal are having a hard time finding a home. I just didn't think the number was that big.
Yeah.
That is a big number. I mean, I think we've seen it with some of Tennessee's recent transfer entries. I guarantee you, Harrison Bailey, when he opted out of the last couple of games to transfer, he did not envision transferring to UNLV.
No. I mean, he is one of these players that fall into this 3 out of 4 because UNLV is not a Power 5 program. So 3 out of 4 players from Power 5 schools who enter the portal, they do not land at another Power 5 program. Harrison Bailey did not land at a Power 5 program. So
Brian Maurer, a little different situation than Harrison Bailey, but I bet when he entered the portal, he didn't think he was going to end up at Stephen F. Austin, an FCS program in the middle of Texas.
Yeah. Yep. So.
He's a guy that started against Alabama in Tuscaloosa, in Neyland Stadium against Georgia, and threw an absolute dime to Marquez Callaway to start the game.
I mean, things changed fast, didn't they?
Yes. It's just college football. College athletics is just mass chaos right now. I am so glad I am not a college coach. I couldn't do it. I could not do it.
Rough, man. Text box time. ATL VFL says teams will start signing less high school players too. Yep. Unless those players can be early enrollees. I think you're going to see more early enrollees around the country.
There was a school in Texas, either North Texas or UTSA, I believe, that did not sign a high school kid last cycle. Only went out and got transfers. I think it was UTSA because UTSA had a good year this past year by their standards and within their conference, won the Conference USA. And it was a big storyline that, hey, they did it with a bunch of transfers because the year prior they only signed transfers. That's all they did. They didn't sign a single high school recruit.
Yep. For some schools, that's going to be the move for them. ATL VFL says, I think non-starters are always going to transfer from now on, regardless of culture. Yeah, I mean, you'll have guys that, like Chris Akprogane. I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with Tennessee's football culture right now, as opposed to, 18 months ago. But if he wants to play, he has to go somewhere else to do it. So you're always going to have transfers. What I'm talking about is the mass exodus of players who are playing. And you hear about some of the smoke that goes around, going on around the program. You can put 2 and 2 together and say, it's probably something going on inside that locker room. But the one-time transfer rule gives those guys a quick out. So these coaches, I think it gives them every bit of motivation and for them to be authentic. You can't trick kids and hold them hostage for 3 or 4 years anymore. And the moment they sniff fake, they'll leave. You lie to them, they'll leave. Z Hamilton says, is there a chance all this gets so out of control they just stop it completely? Talking about the portal and NIL. I don't think you can stop the NIL. You can try to regulate it better and provide, make schools provide paperwork and things like that to make it a little bit more difficult to go out and just get players from high school to pay them using NIL. But I mean, there's still ways to do it. You just make people jump through more hoops and provide more documentation. I think that's what you may see moving forward, but there's no stopping NIL. As far as the portal, I don't think you can go back on the one-time transfer. I mean, you may tweak the windows of when someone can go into the portal, but I don't think you can go back.
And even the problem with tweaking the window is, like, off the bat, like, it sounds great to say that, okay, at the end of the football season, and when do you dictate when the end of the football season is? Is it at the conclusion of the regular season? Is it at the conclusion of the national championship game? Is it at the conclusion of a team's bowl game? I think you'd have to have a college football-wide end of the season and then implement 3 to 4 weeks of, hey, now you can enter the portal. But even that, like, I think is somewhat unfair. Like, I'm all for that in theory, but is it fair to make a kid make a life-changing decisions over the course of 3 weeks? This is a huge, huge decision to make on where to transfer to, and I don't know that I like telling a kid that he only has 3 weeks to make that decision. Not saying that it's impossible, but I just would prefer not to put those restraints on a kid.
Yeah. All right.
So, like, how do you dictate when the end of the season is to have this window of opportunity for players to enter the portal? And B, is it really fair to tell a kid he only has 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks to make a decision on where to transfer to? Like, it can be done. I would just prefer not to put that restraint on a kid.
A lot to think about. Big Bad Voodoo Nate says, so what you're saying, Swain, is that Tennessee is not going to be 70 scholarship players in the fall. Yeah. We'll be operating in the 80s during the fall. Coach SAJ says, the Swain Event, most informative shows last week. No show in town has done as well. And as we know, definitely not the paper who let us know that Heupel measuring stick is Beamer. I almost vomited. I didn't even see that. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, I didn't even see the paper. I don't look at the paper.
I don't. Outside of my guy Mike Wilson, I don't see anything at the paper.
Yeah, I might see some tweets here and there, and if it catches my eye, I may check it out. But I don't really pay attention to the paper, so I did not see the article about Heupel and Beamer. Did not see that at all.
We know Coach SAJ. He can't stand that paper.
Oh, I know now. Yeah, I remember.
I mean, that was one of the first things he told us when we met him in person.
That's right. That's right. That is that is right. That is right. 865-255-03. Is there a limit on preferred walk-ons? There's a limit on players that you can take on the road when you play SEC teams.
I think there's a limit on total roster size, and it's like 100 or something.
Well, when you play on the road,
yes, and there's that.
In the SEC, there's a limit of people that you can bring. When you're at home,
isn't it like 70 something?
I mean,
70, 75 that you can take.
Yeah, somewhere around there. It's a different number when you're at home.
At home, you can dress anybody.
Yeah, it's so the 85 scholarship number. Those are the guys that you are bringing on scholarship. That's your limit. But preferred walk on, you can have a whole lot more. So this is why it's important for Tennessee to do a better job in that area. Not saying that you're going to go out and get a 4-star player to agree to be a walk-on, but you can improve your roster overall with some of these PWO moves that Tennessee has made in the last couple weeks.
70 can travel.
70, yep.
70
I
can
know it's
travel.
different.
Yep.
Because I remember guys, in practice, coach was like, hey, we'll leave your ass home.
Yep. And guys get their behinds left home.
We'll leave you home. If you ain't ready to play, we'll leave you home. There's only 70 that's going to get on that bus. Oh, I remember those talks.
Yep. And then for home games, everybody can dress out. I don't know the exact number of how many people can be in a program in totality. Obviously, there's the 85 scholarship limit. But then I think just in general, you can have like 100 people in the program or something like that.
But between Dooley, Butch, and Pruitt, there's one of those coaches that did not allow as many walk-ons to dress out and be a part of the home atmosphere or even be on the ball walk. And there was a bunch of pushback about that.
Rightfully so.
Because, and I remember, it might have been Butch.
That sounds like, I don't remember that, which would make me think that it was a Dooley thing. Maybe it was Butch.
Maybe. Dooley or Bush, one of those two. But I remember like commenting on it that those walk-ons put a lot of work in during the week, and the one way you can reward them is allowing them to do the ball walk and being part of
run through the tee.
Yeah, run through the tee and all that stuff. And I get it, like the organization on the sideline, in game, and making sure that your units are in the right place. Sometimes they can be crowded on the sideline. I totally get that, but you make the guys, stand back. Put some protocols in place. Make them, be in a certain area so that way it does not interfere with units changing from possession to possession. I mean, you had a sudden change. You got to go, boom, special teams. You don't be able to get your guys all on that mat to have 11 circles to make sure you have everybody in place. So,
and some of those walk-ons are legitimately liked by the scholarship players. And their voice, some of them are valuable on the sideline. Like Grant Furking, like all those other receivers like Grant. And you watch Grant on the sideline, and he's always, in somebody's ear trying to bring some positivity. And Marcus Pierce for the running backs, a younger running back room. Not all walk-ons are built equal, but some of them do carry weight within the locker room. Paul Bain, some of those guys absolutely deserve to be dressed out. And plus, I mean, you essentially put them through hell throughout the course of the week. Yeah. Especially, forget just over the course of the week during the season. They deserve to dress out and go through the fall walk and wear the power tee and run through the tee because of fall camp. Yeah. Fall camp is, I bet, miserable for walk-ons.
Yeah. They do everything that we do. I mean, the summer conditioning, they have to show up to every workout. Fall camp, they are out there with every other player, same temperature. I mean, so you show them love and appreciation by allowing them to be a part of ball walk, running through the tee, and give them a fair shot of earning some time on special teams or anywhere else if they deserve it. So we got some good stuff here on the text box that we'll get to when we come back from break. Hour number 2 is brought to you by Action 247, Tennessee's only legal sports book, where you use the promo code Swain Event on your first deposit. And you can get a match up to $800, a 100% match. That is from Action 247. Give them a follow on Twitter at TN Action 247. Be right back.
I'm Vince Moore, wide receiver, VFL 1991, and you're listening to the Swain Event.
In this day and age, the way we work is changing and evolving. Businesses still moving forward despite your work location changing and supply shortages affecting a number of different areas. Office furniture is not immune to the halt in the supply chain. This is why Office Furniture Outfitters has purchased desks, chairs, and tables in bulk to provide you with in-stock options for your place of business, no matter if it's in an office building or at your house. Office Furniture Outfitters is the local supplier for Herman Miller, and they keep Aeron chairs in stock. They will come to your office, lay out, and make recommendations. No project is too big or too small. You can visit them on location at 17th Street and Grand Avenue in the Fort Sanders area, or online at ofonox.com, or give them a call at 865-524-3003. Office Furniture Outfitters, providing East Tennessee's biggest selection and best value for office furniture since 1995.
Fellas, when it's time to freshen up that wardrobe, there's only one play to make, and that's to go see my friends at Mark Nelson Denim in downtown Knoxville. Find the latest in small batch denim in the heart of Knoxville. Denim isn't all they do though. Mark Nelson also does custom suiting and blazers. Let your personal style shine with Mark Nelson. If you don't have time to go shopping for yourself but still want that fresh look, then sign up for the NN Society. Let the experts handle the shopping and get $300 worth of merchandise for just $150 every other month. That's 6 times per year to keep you looking styling every day. Let Mark Nelson Denim help you be the best you, because when you look good, you feel good. Go to marknelsondenim.com. We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss PRP, platelet-rich plasma. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
Good to be back, Jason. We specialize in non-surgical orthopedics, so we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints, including rotator cuff injuries, knee injuries, and elbow and foot problems by using ultrasound-guided injections with PRP. And this form of treatment helps stimulate the body's own reparative process and assist in the healing of damaged tissue.
Doc, what makes your training different than others?
I've been practicing in Knoxville for over 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. They've been the leader in this form of treatment since 1983. I also teach this form of treatment on a national and international basis to other physicians, residents, and medical students. Here in our clinic, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own PRP, which are concentrated platelets, to treat your injury. So in other words, Jason, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Do what the pros, college athletes, and I have done, and visit them online at trsportsmedicine.com. Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, East Tennessee's leader in PRP therapy.
At Iris Networks, we know that business communication solutions are critical to your success. Since 1998, we've been helping businesses in East Tennessee by providing reliable and affordable high-speed fiber internet and voice solutions. That's why Iris Networks is your Tennessee communications partner. With internet speeds up to 100 gigs and work-from-anywhere solutions like mobile apps, video conferencing, and file sharing, we make sure you can stay connected to your customers and great communities we live and work in. Iris Networks, because just like you, Tennessee is our home.
Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. It's time for Around the SEC. Let's go. Got some hoops tonight. Got some hoops tomorrow. Ben, put it on us, man. Put it on us, Ben.
Remember the Florida linebacker we discussed last week, Tyrone Hopper?
You put your right foot in, you put your right foot out, you put your right foot in, and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey. How it go?
Yes, that is how it goes, and Tyrone has been doing the hokey pokey because last week he entered the transfer portal. 30 minutes later, he removed his name from the transfer portal, and then yesterday re-entered the transfer portal. So, yeah. And Missouri is supposedly one to watch there because his brother, Tyrone Hopper, transferred to Missouri from North Carolina a couple of weeks ago. Tyrone, the brother from North Carolina, is a grad transfer edge rusher and will spend his 7th and final college football season at Missouri. 7th. 7 college football seasons. He signed with North Carolina in the class of 2016.
Let's think about this, Ben.
He signed in 2016.
It's a long time, man.
That was JG's class.
It's a long time. Well, JG just finished up his last year.
But JG was even here forever because he redshirted and then took advantage of the COVID year.
Yeah. And this guy has another year.
I mean, he's been playing college football longer than John Fulkerson has been playing college basketball.
When you think about it that way, that's crazy. That is crazy. So we have a player that entered the portal and then withdrew his name. I mean, it wasn't even a couple days.
Withdrew his name 30 minutes after entering.
The first time.
And then 3-4 days later, re-enters the portal.
Hey, remember last segment we talked about tampering and how it goes on, and it's happening everywhere. There's nothing anyone can do about it. That's an example of having a thought in your head about what's going to happen and where you're going to go, what you're going to do, and then you get into the portal, and then it doesn't work out, or there's something enticing you to stay or come back, and then you take your name out of the portal, and now you're back in. There's some type of miscommunication there with him. It's kind of easy to see, but it's happening all over the country.
Yes. I mean, Tennessee had its own situation similar to this. Lane Kiffin, we talked about all of the newness of Lane Kiffin going into year 3 in Oxford. He did make a coaching hire yesterday. Lane Kiffin hired Arkansas corners coach Sam Carter to the same position. Sam Carter just wrapped up his second season on Sam Pittman's Arkansas staff, and he will replace former Ole Miss corners coach Terrell Buckley, who was fired last week. Carter was previously at Missouri, where he worked under Barry Odom as a defensive quality control coach. And this is why I will never be too angry about players transferring within the conference, because you have coaches doing the same thing. Coaches going from Arkansas to Ole Miss. Why can't a player?
Players should be able to, but it has always been business for the coach. It's always been just about business. Now you're realizing that it's just business now with the players, because they can move from Georgia to Alabama. You know, Miko Hardman played at Georgia, receiver from Kansas City. He had a social media post.
Jermaine Burton did not like it.
And I understand. I can understand both sides of it.
Yep. Miko said, so you're telling me that you're transferring to the school that we just beat in the Natty. You're transferring from a school that won the Natty to a team that we beat in the Natty.
Yeah. How you go to a team we just beat and leave a team you won the Natty with? And then Jermaine Burton responded on Twitter and says, why it matter on who agree?
You know this social media grammar that these kids have gotta get out there.
Let me translate. Why does it matter on who agrees with me? That's translation. My career, nobody else's.
Which he's not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's your career. It's your decision. I actually understand the decision. I would rather catch passes from Bryce Young in the Alabama offense than to be in Georgia's offense. I mean,
you'd rather catch passes from Bryce Young instead of Stetson Bennett?
In Georgia's offense, I would rather play receiver in Alabama's offense than Georgia's offense.
I just can't believe you wouldn't want to play with Stetson Bennett as a wide receiver.
Nah, I'm good. I'd rather play with the quarterback that's more accurate, that's going to deliver me the ball. They put multiple guys in the league. I understand.
Would you rather play with Stetson Bennett or Brian Maurer?
Stetson Bennett.
Stetson Bennett or Jarrett Garantano?
Stetson Bennett.
Stetson Bennett or Harrison Bailey?
Stetson Bennett.
Stetson Bennett or JT Shrout?
Stetson Bennett.
Fair enough.
Every quarterback they played under Jeremy Pruitt, I would rather play with Stetson Bennett.
Keller Christ.
I'm not answering that.
Fine. Two other quick portal notes. Lovesey Carroll. I think that's how you pronounce it. How would you pronounce that first name? Lovesey?
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Lovesey Carroll, who was at Georgia, signed with Georgia as a running back. Then Kirby moved him to defensive back, entered the portal after the season, and he is headed to South Carolina, where he will play running back. So Shane Beamer picks up another portal entry, and then Vanderbilt had yet another portal entry with Jacquez Hunter, a defensive end. Clark Lee's had a lot of portal entries this last month or so. I don't know, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Like, your roster stinks, so theoretically it's not good players entering the portal. But on the other hand, there's a bunch of players entering the portal
from
Vanderbilt. Like, how do we look at that? Like, there's probably, I don't know the official count, but I mean, I would say that there's been 15 or so players enter the portal from Vanderbilt. Is that a good thing because the roster stinks and it's just bad players leaving?
It's a good thing for Vanderbilt. I mean, the only way that Vanderbilt with a new coach is going to improve the job from where he inherited is to get better players. And you're not going to out-recruit teams in the SEC on kids from high school in most cases, but you can improve your roster by getting into the portal because you still have something to sell. I mean, if a kid is in the portal and he's not getting any big-time SEC, FBS offers, and then Vanny comes calling and Vanny is the only one, you want to play at Nevada or do you want to play at Vanderbilt and play in the SEC?
Nevada.
Well, for that player, they may say, hey, I would rather play the SEC, go up against SEC talent, and give me a nice little education and try to go to the league that way.
Hey, Nevada made Colin Kaepernick the football player that he was.
I guess.
I don't know. Some of the transfers are starters, though. Like, both their starting safeties have entered the portal, starting linebackers, starting defensive linemen who transferred from Ohio State just a year ago. I mentioned their tackle transfer earlier in the show. I think Tennessee is probably the favorite to land him.
I mean, what does it really mean to being a starter at Vanderbilt? It's like being the tallest short person.
Well, for Tyler Steen, the tackle that could end up at Tennessee, and it may be likely that he ends up at Tennessee, it's a great thing. I mean, Vanderbilt did not deserve him in the first place, okay? I mean, he was the best Vanderbilt player to step foot on that campus since Kari Blasingame left, okay? I mean, Tyler Steen is just an absolute stud. Stud muffin is what he is. But if you don't come to Tennessee, then he is the tallest short person in the room. I just think it's an interesting conversation. Your roster stinks, so it's a good thing players are leaving. But also, you still need players, and it's not like they've had a bunch of players come to Vanderbilt from the portal. It's just fascinating.
Speaking of the car, I felt bad when he dropped that ball.
Yeah, I felt bad for him. My heart sunk.
I was like, wait, when did he change his number? Because he was rocking 41.
Until his boy Zach Cunningham got there and dropped him the bag.
Gave him some money so he can get that 41. But I felt bad for him because that was during time when the Titans offense was so stale and they just looked so flat and throws were off and it just was flat. And
am I allowed to blame Tannehill? I mean, it was low and a little outside. Tannehill's fault. Hit him in the chest. Hit him in the numbers. Tannehill.
Drop. It was a drop.
Tannehill doesn't get the benefit of the doubt after that game.
It was a drop. 865, 255.
My heart sunk when I was like, no! He barely got the ball thrown to him all year. They throw it to him in the playoff game, and he dropped it. Dang it! I felt so bad for him.
ATL VFL says, do you think this will hurt players in the long run as college loyalty fades? Pro players and alumni may not care as much and donate. No, I think the objective to win is what keeps people continuing to donate. Now, as fans, it may change you as a fan emotionally. It may change you as a fan emotionally because you understand that a player is picking your school for a different reason than the reason why you love the school. it's so different when like a player picks Tennessee and they're like, man, the tradition, and I picked the school, the tradition, the fan base, and man, I love the stadium, and I just want to give my all for Tennessee, and man, the relationship. Man, some of these kids are picking schools strictly off the deals, and as a fan, some are. I'm not gonna say all of them. I think that's sweeping generalization that we don't like as a fan base when people make it about us. So I won't say all, but I'll say, there's a lot of players who are making decisions based on the bag and making decisions based on, all right, this is the best place for me to go to the next level. And it has nothing to do with the fan base. It has nothing to do with the tradition. They don't care what colors they don't care about the colors. They don't care about any of that stuff. And I think that changes the way you fan a little bit. For sure. No, for sure.
These players do not care about the school the way that most people think that they do.
Not anymore.
Your Evan Russells and John Fulkersons, like those guys legitimately do, but they are far and in between.
I don't think it's far in between. I think it is. I think the top players that have been told they're going to the league, and I think it's pretty normal for those guys to be robotic and have a business mindset and pick schools based on, all right, which school can get me to the pros, or which one's going to give me the bag. And that's the only two things that matter. That's the only factor that matters. I don't think it's few in between to find, guys like a John Fulkerson who really loves the school. But there are more and more Henry To'os. Him coming to Tennessee, guys, I tell you, that was all business.
and I do believe that Henry T genuinely loved being at Tennessee. How can you not when you get here?
When he got here, he felt that way. But that wasn't the reason why he picked Tennessee.
Correct. And that's what I was about to say, is that like he did love Tennessee. He really did. He probably, I guarantee you, he misses Knoxville. Just Knoxville itself and the school itself. But that's not what he is making decisions off of. His decisions are based off the bag and based off of getting to the league. And that's what 98% of recruits are making decisions based off of. Who signed with Tennessee this past signing class that you can point to and say that they just love Tennessee?
Addison Nichols.
Yeah.
I only know this because I talked to him.
Well, and because he has a bunch of ties to Knoxville. His grandparents are here, and Austin Price loves to point out that he knows
fine folks over there at Long's Drug Store.
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
but out of the 20 players that we signed, 13 is going to be early enrollees. You do know that not all these guys got deals.
Right. And I'm not saying that like the guys that Tennessee signed don't like Tennessee. Like, you can look at their social media, like Justin Williams and Taven Jackson, and like you can see that like they have fallen in love with Tennessee, but they're not coming to Tennessee because of their love for the university. They made business decisions based off of where they thought was the best place for them from a business perspective and trying to get to the league.
I agree, because I think most players are like that.
Yes, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I was like that. The reason why I was like that, because I didn't have any type of exposure to Tennessee as a youngster growing up. I didn't know the background of Tennessee. I didn't grow up as a Tennessee fan.
Right.
With Addison Nichols, there's family around him that have loyalty to Tennessee. So he was kind of
he had that background.
Yeah, he was kind of dunked in that Tennessee pool, so to speak. But most of us go to a school that checks the most boxes we feel comfortable with, and then when we get there, we learn about the history, we learn about the standard, we learn about the fan base, And then you fall in love more and more and more because every single day you're literally putting your body on the line for the university and for the team and the program that you're playing with. And then you develop the relationships with your brothers. And then after a couple of years, it's like, this is my school. I love my school. And that's how I am. That's how I am now. But that's not why I picked Tennessee. I didn't love any school. So, but yeah, I think you're right there.
But and the point in me mentioning that, and it speaks to your original point, is that we as fans forget that when talking about players, and especially in this new age of player. Not saying that there is necessarily anything wrong with the new age of player, but I feel like there's less and less of that, of players coming to a school for the school. I think that it is rare. And like there's nothing wrong with guys making business decisions. They need to do what's best for them and their family. But we as fans forget that they're not coming to the school because of the vol walk and the power tee and running through the tee and the checkerboard end zones. I mean, that makes us feel good, but that's not why guys are coming to school in any sport.
Yeah, it's less of that. Yeah, it's less of that. Who's on the phone?
Don.
Don, good morning.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Don.
Yeah, I'm glad you're talking about some of this stuff. Ben, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions in recruiting type deal.
Yes, sir.
And I've talked to Brent and different ones over the years, and I'm still confused about the hard 25 when I look at the rankings from the various sites, and I see 27, 28, and this is after signing the original signing date. And I'm like, okay, there's really not a hard 25. How do you say there's a hard 25? And some of these schools are still out trying to recruit people for the next signing date.
Right. Well, I think in some instances, a blue shirt or a gray shirt can be involved to where a kid may not enroll with the rest of his signing class in order for his number not to count until the next year. And there's so many different ins and outs with those type of deals that it's hard to all keep straight.
Well, yeah, it definitely is hard to keep straight.
It's ways to finagle the system there.
And Butch used to really finagle it. But, talking about these players, why they come to school and stuff like that, our receiver we thought was coming here, Mr. Maurer. I whatever reason he went to Texas, being at home, whatever. My biggest problem was I think we might have passed on some other receivers because, Hype and them thought they had him, committed. But I'll guarantee you one thing.
We didn't pass
No, I know you didn't. I remember you talking about it.
No, I'm saying we didn't pass on any receivers.
Okay.
Okay. Not getting Nayor. Now you are looking at Brew McCoy, the former 5-star receiver that is at USC. So as soon as his stuff gets handled at USC, his case is closed. Then I think Tennessee's in a position to add him. So he's a different type of body, but he's good too.
Well, one of the things, and I hope it's good for him. I'm not, wishing bad on him, but if you watch the receiver the other night with, I guess it was the Bills, that was ripping up Kansas City's defense, that's kind of a hype disciple. I hope him and what we had last year in number 4, I'd almost, if I had to bet, I would bet he would have had a more numbers-wise, et cetera, career here than he's going to get at Texas. Who's going to be even throwing the ball to him in Texas?
Quinn Ewers.
They've got some big names over there, but nobody established like a Hendon Hooker.
No.
But it wasn't really it wasn't necessarily a football decision for Isaiah Nayor.
I know. Well, and yours may turn out great. He may be the next Joe Burrow that couldn't get on the field at Ohio State and then went on to be better than the people he couldn't get in front of. I mean, Justin Fields is young, and he may still, take off for you there. But what Burrow did at LSU and then has followed it up in the NFL, you're like, what did they not see in Joe Burrow? I mean, yes, he was behind the first-round draft choice at Washington that is Washington and washed out. And
Dwayne Haskins.
Yep. And then there was another one there, I forget, and he ended up as a wide receiver when he got to the NFL, I think. But I'm like,
Terrell Pryor.
Well, no, Terrell goes back a day.
Braxton Miller?
Oh, yeah, Braxton Miller.
Yeah. So Ohio State's been one step short of that national championship. Joe Burrow might have been the man that took them there if they'd realized what they had. Don't know, but
or maybe he got better when he went somewhere else, and system fit. Fit him a little bit better somewhere else.
Even at LSU, he wasn't Joe Burrow right off the bat. I mean,
no, he wasn't.
That I like to, and a lot of people do like to kind of laugh at that hit that he took from UCF in the Fiesta Bowl.
I thought it was Florida, an interception. Did he take two?
Maybe it was two. I'm thinking of one in the bowl game against UCF, and he got absolutely clocked on the pick six. And it's like ever since he got clocked on that pick six, he's just been amazing. So I guess he needs to credit the UCF defender that clocked him for his career because he's been amazing since that point.
It was like the movie Rookie of the Year when the guy breaks his arm, and then when he breaks it, he's throwing 100 miles per hour in Major League. It was like Joe Burrow when he got hurt. It triggered something in his brain to turn him into Tom Brady of college football.
Yep.
Yeah, and he got hurt, his rookie year and was having a pretty good season, but what he came back this year and done was, kind of like his second season at LSU. He just, he's fun to watch. Of course, he's got the weapons. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he's got some guys he can hum that ball down the field to. But I was talking about the the walk-on program stuff, and I was just looking online there this morning. These guys that come in, maybe Schuler never played quarterback here, but I mean he was a scholarship, quarterback, and the tight end at UCF was a scholarship player. These guys are not just, you had a caller wanting to know the difference between walk-on, preferred walk-on, and especially if you take guys that are in state. Maybe they weren't in state where they were playing previously, but they're in state people, so they qualify for, some state money and different things that can certainly help them finance their own programming. What's to prevent with this NIL when you get to numbers? Somebody getting paid enough to just walk on?
Nothing right now, Don. Nothing right now. There's no regulation for that right now. That's why it's important to be subtle. Hour 3 coming up on the Swain Event. 865-255-03. Swain Event fueled by Dead End Barbecue. Appreciate Don joining us on the Irish Networks hotline. 90 days, no payment for business internet. IrishNetworksUSA.com. Stay with us.
The Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
At Iris Networks, we know that business communication solutions are critical to your success. Since 1998, we've been helping businesses in East Tennessee by providing reliable and affordable high-speed fiber internet and voice solutions. That's why Iris Networks is your Tennessee communications partner. With internet speeds up to 100 gigs and work from anywhere solutions like mobile apps, video conferencing, and file sharing, we make sure you can stay connected to your customers and great communities we live and work in. Iris Networks, because just like you, Tennessee is our home.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. Firms from Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham have stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local law firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. They are our neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at GarzaLaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and LowTCenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you. Hello, is that as low as you can go? Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
Calling around to get the best rate on a car loan.
Why? Everyone knows Alcoa 10 is the best choice to purchase a vehicle or refinance your current loan. And with low interest rates and 90 days to your first payment, it's a no-brainer. You can even apply online and sign all the documents from the convenience of your home.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Alcoa 10 Credit Union. It's so easy. Go to atfcu.com for details. Rates are dependent on credit score and equal housing lender.
When you start your own business, you know that branding can make or break a new venture. That's why Swain Event relies on 42nd Street. 42nd Street is a strategy agency focused on finding creative, open-minded, results-driven solutions to brand design. After over a decade of operations in East Tennessee, the brand architects at 42nd Street have the experience and creative know-how to ensure the success of your business branding, logo, web presence, and more. To see a real-life example of their amazing work, you can check out our website at swainevent.com. Don't trust the branding of your business to just anyone. Check out my friends at 42nd Street online at 42st.com or give them a call at 865-382-7007. 42nd Street, brand, strategy, design.
If you want to get in on the conversation, call the Iris Networks hotline at 865-200-5503. Grow your business with Iris Networks high-speed fiber internet. IrisNetworksUSA.com.
Hour 3, powered by Low T Center and LowTCenter.com. Jason Swain, Ben McKee. Swain Event fueled by Daddy and Barbecue. Let's get to Turkey Man. Turkey Man, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
What is up?
The difference between a walk-on and a preferred walk-on is if your McDonald's bag been supersized or not.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, hey, after the we played in the bowl game, do you have a higher or a lower excitement level than you had before we played? And if we had not played, knowing the outcome of the game, if we had not have played in the bowl game, would your excitement level been higher before that game was played? I'm going to get out and listen. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Turkey Man. That's a good question.
Excitement for like the future.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, I'm really thinking about it because I want to be, I want to be intentional here. I want to be honest. I think I am more, encouraged by the going into the next season from the overall season. I don't let the bowl game, I don't let one game cloud my judgment on the entire season. The entire season was a success. The bowl game wasn't ideal in terms of the result, but guys got a chance to practice, get reps. He did a good job in recruiting, finishing strong. So, yeah, I mean, my outlook is more positive now than it was before the bowl game, regardless of the result. But I'm disappointed in what happened. I'm disappointed in us losing and how we lost, because I thought Tennessee should have won that game by multiple scores. But the big picture is still bright, in my opinion. And there are some concerns with different positions on the team, but man, we had the same type of concerns going into the spring last year, and Tennessee staff was able to address some of those concerns before they even coached the game. So I think they should do a better job having 1 year under the belt to be able to show players that they're recruiting what they're actually going to be doing if they come to Tennessee. So yeah, I mean, I'm encouraged. I can say that.
I feel the same as I did the night of the game and the morning after the game, and that is that the game was a reality check. I'm not any more excited about the future. I'm not any less excited. It was a reality check is what it was. Just because, I mean, it reminded us of what Tennessee needs to accomplish this offseason. And how far Tennessee has to go in order to get back to winning 9-10 games and trying to make it to Atlanta. So I'm still excited for the future under Josh Heupel. That has remained the same, but in reference to this upcoming year too, it probably did bring me back down to earth a little bit, just because all of our weaknesses, although you saw our strengths on offense, and it wasn't even a great offensive outing, you saw all the weaknesses on defense. And I mean, as it currently sits, because of the current predicament Tennessee is in, I mean, it's those same guys coming back, and you haven't been able to add anybody just yet. So it was a reality check for me, but I'm still excited for the future as much as I was before the game.
865-255-03. We'll get to Austin Price here in a couple minutes. Until then, let's go back to the text box. But first, man, let's mention the fact that the Lady Vols moved up a spot to number 4. It went from 5 to 4, and then the men's team moved up 4 spots from 22 to 18. So
6 spots.
Yeah, I want to make sure.
From 24 to 18.
24, that's right. 24 to 18, not 22.
Moved up 6 spots.
So I want to make sure we mention that.
That's all we're mentioning. We're not going to mention who's number 1 in the men's poll.
Hey, man, it's Auburn. It is what it is. Playing the best right now. It's about playing the best at the right time.
You know it would be the most Tennessee thing ever if Bruce Pearl won a national championship at Auburn.
You got the best team in America right now.
Does he?
Yeah. You got the best team. They're playing the best right now. When Tennessee was number 1 in the country, you know, there was a time where, like, Tennessee was playing better than anybody else actually before they got the ranking.
Mm-hmm.
But was not playing like the number 1 team in the country while having the number 1 ranking. Like, Auburn right now is playing, I think, the best basketball in the country. Now, this was all before they actually got the number 1 ranking. Now they have it officially yesterday. Can they continue to play that way? Injuries can change a lot, but right now they're playing the best. But this is January 25th. It's not March. So can they keep it up? That's the name of the game, man. It's about peaking at the right time.
Just don't win the Natty. That would be the most Tennessee thing ever. Let me ask you this real quick. We don't have to get into a big discussion because it could lead to that, but I don't want to get into that. And I know you don't like these hypothetical questions and
some of them I don't.
These what-if questions.
Some of them I don't. What you got?
When Rick Barnes retires and if Bruce Pearl won a national championship at Auburn and you were in charge at Tennessee, would you go after Bruce Pearl? Rick Barnes retires. Bruce has won a national championship at Auburn. Would you go after Bruce once Rick retires?
If I'm the AD?
Yeah, if you are in charge. Because I think and I'm asking this on purpose because I think if I said, would Tennessee go after him, I think we know that maybe Tennessee probably would not go after him. But if you were in charge, would you go after him?
Indirectly, I would see if there was interest before I actually go after him because I wouldn't want a public no.
He would be at the top of my list.
Yeah, I mean, any coach who wins a national championship should be, regardless of who it is.
Honestly, like, even if he doesn't win the national championship, once Rick retires, I think Bruce may be at the top of my list. I am willing to go back down that road.
I don't have a problem with that.
If it means duplicating what he's doing at Auburn and recreating what he's already done here.
But if I'm Bruce, I'm not going anywhere.
But he loves Tennessee. He loves Knoxville.
He loves Auburn too now.
We are at that point to where he has been at Auburn longer than Tennessee, right? He's approaching that for sure.
He loves Auburn too. I mean, I wouldn't leave if I was him.
I would.
The school backed him during the, he only got a couple games suspension. He got one game.
2 games.
2 games suspension
against UNA and some other ranked school.
Yeah, I mean the administration here is different than when he was here before, but like Auburn backed him better when he was in the NCAA crosshairs. So if I'm him, I'm not going anywhere.
I feel you. And Alex, nobody needs to break it to me that there's no chance. I literally just said
it's hypothetical.
Did I not just say that I don't think Tennessee would do it?
No, it's hypothetical.
I just said that.
But you said me.
If you were in charge,
I was in charge.
That's what I said.
Yeah, if I was in charge, I would reach out third party, so I can always say.
And if I was in charge, I would too.
Yeah, I would be able to say no. We got it.
But I know Tennessee's not going to, which is why I phrased the question the way that I did.
If there was any hire that I feel comfortable with Danny White making, it would be a basketball hire after Rick Barnes retires. Like Danny White hired Nate Oates at Buffalo. Danny White did a good job bringing in Johnny Dawkins at Central Florida. Danny White is a basketball dude. Played basketball as a walk-on in Notre Dame. Father was AD at Duke. His brother played basketball at Ole Miss. Mike White. I mean, basketball runs through that family's veins. So I'm pretty sure if Rick retires, Danny's going to look for a coach that puts up points, is fast-paced, that plays a style of play that fans want to watch and that players want to come and play it, just like he did with the football hire. I would be chilling. I'll be chilling if it ever came to that, because I know Danny White would probably knock that one out of the park. 865-255-03, the Irish Networks hotline, and joining us on that Irish Networks hotline, it is our guy Austin Price of VolQuest.com here. AP, man, good morning.
What's up, Jason? How are you?
We are wonderful, wonderful. Ben, say hello to your coworker.
Hello, coworker.
What's up, Ben McKee?
The dynamic duo, Ben McKee, Austin Price, VolQuest.
I said hello to him when I called him.
That's right. .com here. AP, Friday, a little bit yesterday, a little bit today. Just folks are. I think some of them still are trying to figure out like where we are from a scholarship standpoint, and you're looking at other schools be active in the portal. Friday I tried to go in detail as much as I could, but anything to help some of those folks that didn't maybe understand that previously, that you may be able to help them understand, maybe coming from a different voice. It's a little bit easier to understand. But Tennessee right now is not taking a bunch of guys from the portal because of number constraints. Why is that, AP?
Well, right now you're in a situation where you had to get to a certain number. When you're going to self-impose You had to get to a certain number by the start of this spring semester. That's why Tennessee, I think, could still bring in, because Isaiah Nayer did not come, they could still bring in one guy if they chose to. Otherwise, you're looking at either having to tell a kid he can't be here, which, isn't going to happen now because the spring semester has started, or you have to adjust the number of scholarships that you were going to self-impose. I don't think Tennessee wants to do that. So, again, it's just off of the number that had to be wrapped up by the start of the spring semester. You'll be able to add players post-spring. So that's why I said Tennessee will be able to take players post-spring practice. Again, if the right player was available right now, they could take one because Nayer did not come. So that's kind of where things are when it pertains to numbers with this current class.
So that Nayer not coming, being a wide receiver, do you feel like the Nayer replacement could possibly be Brew McCoy? I know there's some players on our team, players that played on our team last year that have connections to him because of their time out in USC. Where's Tennessee looking with Brew McCoy, who was a former 5-star player out of high school, receiver out of high school? What has to happen for Tennessee to be able to get him, and where does Tennessee stand with him?
Well, he's got to get those things cleared up. He had some allegations against him, never had charges filed. But, because USC has had some Title IX issues, they made it, he was suspended from team activities from a football standpoint, but could go to class with all the students out there. It made a lot of sense, right? So they've got to clear some things there. If that happens, then we'll see. First things first, and that comes with getting all the stuff cleared. With the campus there at USC.
Gotcha. Makes sense. On the locker room on Sunday, AP, we covered how signing day in February is going to look a little bit different because a lot of those guys are already here. We got 13, 14 guys signed early. We have 7 that signed but won't be here later. Tennessee's recruiting a handful of guys. You can count on one hand. Who are some of those guys that Tennessee is still recruiting for the 2022 class for National Signing Day, first week of February?
Well, Jason Jenkins will officially visit this weekend, the defensive lineman from New Jersey. I think Tennessee's got a decent shot there. Ahmad Moten, defensive lineman from South Florida, he visited 2 weeks ago. Was at Oklahoma last weekend, had a midweek North Carolina official sandwiched in between Tennessee and Oklahoma. He'll be at Miami this weekend, where he will, that's where everybody expects him to go. His brother played in Miami. He's from South Florida. Cristobal's kind of, got a little bit of juice coming in here, and he knows how important Ahmad Moten is for him from a perception standpoint, from, just need standpoint. So, everybody expects him to end up in Miami. I think that's where he's going to go. But Tennessee's continued to battle there. Josh Heupel and Rodney Garner will go in home. I think it is tomorrow. Tennessee was in there last week. The kid continues to have good conversations with Tennessee, but you just wonder how much this last visit to Miami will play, and just how much being close to home will play, much like, when Isaiah Nayer chose to stick home at Texas. It had nothing to do with NIL with Isaiah Nayer. If it had to do with NIL, normally we'd come back and say, well, can you do better? Can we do better than what we're doing? You're not going to do that when you just want to stay close to home. Tennessee never had a chance to counter Texas, and it's because he wanted to be closer to home. How much does that play with Ahmad Moten? I would say a lot, but, every kid's different. So, you let it play out, continue to recruit, and see what happens.
Tennessee had a big junior day this past Saturday. What stood out to you?
Well, I think the defensive lineman, the offensive lineman, Christopher Vizzini, the quarterback, good-looking kid, talk to him. Tennessee's obviously very much in play there. Tennessee's also, in play with Nico, trying to be in play with Dante Moore. So I mean, Tennessee's trying to recruit, multiple quarterbacks just because you never know. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Tennessee's by Nico, or about to check on Nico yesterday out in California. Josh Heupel was, where he returned back, this way today to join Rodney Garner in Alabama and Georgia recruit. We're going up to Jason Jenkins and then Ahmad Moten. Defensive line-wise, Kamarion Franklin, the 2024 out of North Mississippi, right outside of Memphis, great-looking kid, super impressive. Grayson Howard, a great-looking linebacker out of Florida. Offensive line-wise, Aiden Bussell, Bryson Sanders, two guys that are in-state kids that Tennessee's in a pretty good spot with. And then Sam Pendleton, offensive lineman from over in Winston-Salem, who, really looks a lot like Brandon Burlesworth, former Arkansas offensive lineman from many moons ago. Kind of has the glasses, mean, nasty, thick, about 308 pounds, good-looking kid. Tennessee's in play there as well.
What do you make of the current quarterback situation for Tennessee in recruiting, just with Christopher Vizina? I mean, if he wanted to commit today, do you think that they would take him?
Yes.
And then just kind of try to work it out with Nico?
Yeah,
or Dante Moore or whoever?
Bird in the hand.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing is, the Nico thing is interesting because he can have NIL opportunities. He can have marketing opportunities right now as a high schooler in California because of their state law. Well, that puts you in a weird spot because, you could end up, giving him NIL opportunities and then he could still end up going elsewhere. So that there's an interesting dynamic there with recruiting any kid from California. Dante Moore, he's got to get back down here. Tennessee goes and sees him, they talk, but I think he's got to visit again for Tennessee to be a true player for him. Vizina, likes Tennessee a lot. It's not too far away, 4-hour drive. Again, I think Tennessee's going to continue to recruit multiple quarterbacks because that's the prudent thing to do. You never want to lock yourself in or pigeonhole yourself, for no reason.
What other schools are in it with Vizina?
Half the SEC and most of the ACC.
I know Clemson has kind of been talking to him, and
yes,
he's been there or is about to go there.
Yeah, I think it's next weekend. I think that's right. Although I talked to so many kids last weekend, I know there was one kid told me he was going to Clemson this next weekend. I think it was him.
AP, I'm not going to sit here and act like the commitment of preferred walk-ons is something that we should do backflips about, like it would be when you get a highly rated 4-star, 5-star player. But it seems to me that there is a level of quality that has improved somewhat there. Looking at the former Nebraska linebacker who is going to be a preferred walk-on here at Tennessee, and Jackson Hanna, have you been able to tell that upgrade in quality as far as preferred walk-on? Looks like there's a strategy being met there by the Tennessee staff.
Well, I think Tennessee got a shot to get Shannon Blair, former Michigan State commit, before he tore his ACL. That's a possibility, to be a preferred walk-on here at Tennessee. You're right, Jackson Hanna, another guy who was on scholarship in Nebraska, former teammate of Jackson Lampley, MBA in Nashville prospect. And then we'll see. There's a couple other opportunities out there, I think for kids that, have some mid-level stuff that may choose to walk on at Tennessee. And, we'll see if that happens. I don't want to ruin kids' moments. But if that's the case, then, I think it's a really good, solid group of players that had opportunities at bigger schools, to get their school paid for free. that chose to come here and try to earn something.
What is the latest with Jawan Mitchell and Jeremy Banks?
Both are in winter workouts for Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Man, for me, I thought that Jawan Mitchell would not be a part of the long-term plans for Tennessee football. Mid-season, I had these thoughts. I'm surprised he's still here, and maybe he's not here after the spring. But what is the current vibe with Jawan Mitchell? I know the first year was not what anyone expected. Is he in a position? Are we in a position to where we can maybe count on him a little bit more? Is he more comfortable with the staff, or do you feel like he's still someone that is a potential transfer portal guy after the spring?
Well, he's already transferred, so he could only grad transfer, and I don't believe he's graduated yet. So I don't think he could transfer without sitting out. He's always been one that Tennessee didn't want to give up on, but he had to conform and adjust kind of his approach, and kind of have more buy-in. And it certainly seems like there is a little bit more buy-in on his part, which is why he's still here.
18 new football players arrived yesterday. 13 of those were freshmen or JUCO Desmond Williams, who signed recently. Which one are you kind of most excited to see perform this spring?
All of them. I'm all about new bodies. So,
I'm with you.
I'm interested to see how Cam Miller does. Interested to see how Elijah Shearing does. Justin Williams is someone I really want to see in spring. I'm less excited to see the linemen just because I think that's more of a developmental position and it's harder to play right away unless you're really special. But I would be interested to see how Addison Nichols looks this spring. They need Desmond Williams to come in and be a guy that can help them on special teams and help them in the secondary. Tennessee really needs to get more athletic at the secondary, and I think that's an important thing to keep an eye on spring and fall.
Think Cam Miller plays receiver, starts at receiver?
I think he starts there.
Do you think he ends there?
I don't know. We'll see. I think it depends on Cam Miller.
For sure. What about tackle? The last thing I got for you. I know they added Gerald Mincey, the transfer from Florida. He's officially here. Dane Davis, Jeremiah Crawford, they need big springs. You just mentioned Addison Nichols. He's going to start at tackle. And right tackle is obviously a big question mark opposite of Darnell Wright. You think they're maybe comfortable with those four names potentially winning the job, or do you think that they maybe pursue other options as well?
I think if the right guy goes in the portal post-spring, that Tennessee will look to add help at offensive tackle.
As it should.
AP, man, it's always good to have you on. A lot of the hay is already in the barn with this 2022 class, but appreciate you sharing. A couple of the guys at Tennessee still trying to pull in this class, but the quarterback recruitment is going to be interesting over the next 6 to 8 months as Henry Hooker will be finishing his career last year here at Tennessee. So there has to be a plan moving forward. And how many quarterbacks does Tennessee bring in? Who will it be? But, man, thank you for your insight as always. And, man, we'll talk to you here soon.
Sounds good, Jason. Appreciate you and Ben.
Enjoy your Tuesday, AP. Austin Price this time is brought to you by Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty. If you are looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, shoot her an email at jennifermorris865@gmail.com or give her a phone call or text message, 865-257-7897. That's her telephone number. Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty. We will take a quick time out. We got a lot to get to in 20 minutes. We'll try to jam it all in 20 minutes here on the Swain Event. Stay with us.
For a replay of each day's Swain Event TV, like us on Facebook.
Good morning, Swain Event crew. The new year is here and it's the 2022 East Tennessee real estate season. As I always do, I'm going to shoot straight with you. If you have a home to sell, then you need to give me a call ASAP. Inventory is low, and I will get you the most money possible and more than you think trying to sell it on your own. If you are a seller that also needs to buy a home, you need to call me ASAP, as there are ways I can help you manage that situation and stay in your home until we find what you want. If you are looking to buy, you need to call me ASAP. You absolutely need someone on your side to help navigate the current waters, and you need someone that's going to do their homework and find homes that aren't on the market yet. Bottom line, you need to call me today ASAP. Jennifer Morris, Keller Williams Realty, 865-257-7897 if you are buying, selling, or considering investing in real estate this year. Or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. I hope to hear from you soon, and go Vols!
JC's Tree and Landscaping Service specializes in quality tree work done at an affordable price. Trimming and removing trees are their specialty. They also offer other services like land clearing, stump grinding, crane services, and all of your basic landscaping needs for both commercial and residential. JC's will give you a free estimate and beat any written quote by a competitor to guarantee that you get the lowest price around. Don't risk your land with a fly-by-night service. JC's Tree and Landscaping is licensed and insured. Give them a call at 865-599-3799. Litter is a big problem in Tennessee, but together we can do big things. We can make our cities, our waterways, our roads cleaner and safer. The Tennessee Department of Transportation is committed to reducing litter in our communities, but we need your help to do it. There are over 100 million pieces of litter in our roads at any given time, and it costs TDOT about $19 million a year just to clean it up. The first step to keeping Tennessee beautiful is to rally behind these 3 simple words. Nobody trashes Tennessee. Join the Nobody Trashes Tennessee movement at NobodyTrashesTennessee.com. We're here with Dr. Michael Carlson of Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine to discuss PRP, platelet-rich plasma. If you have orthopedic injuries such as shoulder pain, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, or tennis elbow, you should give them a call.
Good to be back, Jason. We specialize in non-surgical orthopedics, so we treat damaged tendons, ligaments, and joints, including rotator cuff injuries, knee injuries, and elbow and foot problems by using ultrasound-guided injections with PRP. And this form of treatment helps stimulate the body's own reparative process and assist in the healing of damaged tissue.
Doc, what makes your training different than others?
I've been practicing in Knoxville for over 26 years, and I'm certified in interventional regenerative orthopedic medicine through the American Academy of Orthopedic Medicine. They've been the leader in this form of treatment since 1983. I also teach this form of treatment on a national and international basis to other physicians, residents, and medical students. Here in our clinic, I'm the one doing the procedure, and we're using your own PRP, which are concentrated platelets, to treat your injury. So in other words, Jason, it comes from you and it goes back to you. So you know exactly what you're getting and know exactly the level of training involved.
Do what the pros, college athletes, and I have done, and visit them online at trsportsmedicine.com. Tennessee Regenerative Sports Medicine, East Tennessee's leader in PRP therapy.
More and more Tennessee businesses are switching to Iris Networks for reliable, local, high-quality, high-speed business fiber internet. Iris provides direct internet access from 10 megs to 10 gigs with no payments for 90 days. Iris also offers next-generation business phones with work-from-anywhere capability from the mobile or laptop app. With local sales, support, and service, Iris is a partner in the community. Learn more at irisnetworkusa.com or call 865-448-IRIS. Iris Networks, a Tennessee business connecting Tennessee businesses.
Hour 3 of the Swain Event is brought to you by the Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Do you know your numbers? Feel like you again. Let us help.
Let's go to the phones. Let's bring in Jay here at hour number 3, powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com, reinventing men's healthcare. Let's get to JJ. What is up?
Swain, what's up, man?
What's up?
Hey, school has started back up for us, so I've been busy, but I've been wanting to call you because I listened to the Friday show, and I got to say, man, it was one of your best shows I think you've ever done. And you were speaking a lot of truth. And I thought just the things that you were saying were things that just needed to be said. And, and unfortunately, there's this, people want to overreact on the internet. Twitter's a great spot to look at that. Message boards, whether it's about sports, politics, whatever. People overreact. They over-sensationalize things. They make things worse than what they are. And, that was starting to happen with the NIL stuff with Tennessee because, we weren't taking players or whatever. And, of course, our situation right now is just different with limitations and all that, like you explained. But I thought you did a really good job of laying things out. And I left feeling positive because I wasn't one that was freaking out, but I was worried, Swain, because I'm thinking, NIL is such a seismic shift in college football, and I was worried Tennessee was going to get left behind. Because if you want to compete at the highest levels, you better have, even more so now, it's not about facilities. It's not so much about who has the biggest, fan base or nicest stadium. It's going to be about NIL money. Mm-hmm. And I was afraid that Tennessee may get left behind. And I think in this NIL era, if you don't have a good NIL program, you're not going to be able to compete. Would you agree with that? Or
until the NIL is regulated, if you're not willing to swim with the Sharks, then yes, you will get left behind.
And I'm not expecting us. Look, the reality is, and fans need to understand this, okay, Texas A&M has more Jimmy Haslam than we do.
Yes.
They always have. They always will.
That's why Georgia and Alabama, their coaches made statements that they made about, oh, man, we might want to, we got to do something about the regulation because they know that they don't have as much money as Texas A&M.
But, Swain, I left feeling positive after your talk. And to me, I don't know if you and Ben agree or not, but to me, Tennessee's the only in-state school in Tennessee that matters. They don't have to compete with an Auburn. It's not divided like Clemson, South Carolina. And you have all these resources. To me, Tennessee, it's not a stretch at all to say they should have a top 10, top 15 at worst NIL destination. Maybe they're not Texas A&M, but they should still have one of the better NIL destinations in the country. Would y'all agree with that?
100%. 100%. Yeah. And Tennessee did not, lose Jared Verse because of that. Because Jared Verse, last time I checked, didn't go to A&M, didn't go to big money, documented big spenders. I mean, so it wasn't just NIL on players that we missed out on. I think people jump to those conclusions, but yes, Tennessee will be top 10, top 15 when it comes to NIL. I don't even like saying top 15. I'm more comfortable saying top 10. You don't have to be the biggest spender to be good. Because you still got to coach them. You still got to develop them. You still got to have a positive culture. Those things matter. So this is not like the Major League Baseball where New York Yankees of a couple of years ago, you can go out and have the biggest payroll, but even that doesn't guarantee you a World Series. It doesn't guarantee you a championship. So this thought that, oh my gosh, you got to outbid Texas A&M. Number one, it's not realistic. It's not going to happen.
Dodgers had the largest payroll in baseball this past season, and what the Braves do to them, beat the brakes off of them.
Yeah. So
and the Braves have a nice payroll, but the Braves even had a bunch of guys who were filling in for injured guys.
Yeah. So the way to look at it is, you have to participate to give yourself a chance. To give yourself a chance. If you don't participate, you don't have a chance. But if you participate at a high level, you'll give yourself a chance to win at a high level. So Tennessee, as far as NIL, Tennessee is going to do that. Tennessee has done a good job with the NIL to bring quality players to this program. It's not going to be on the front page of the newspaper. It's not going to be drawn out in crayon. Like, you just have to put two and two together. And hopefully Friday's show, I was able to kind of point at some of those things that was taking place.
Yeah, I think if you're still freaking out and you listen to your show and you're just choosing to freak out at that point, but you know, that's a good that's all well said, and I kind of you know, I agree. I understand why Saban and Smart are saying it, and they're saying it for their benefit just because they don't want anyone interrupting what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I do agree that this does need regulation because right now it's just NFL free agency with no restrictions. And I mean, this would be like the Dallas Cowboys going and buying 18 first-round draft picks or something. Yep. And you know, at least with the NFL, you would have Cincinnati can go out, even though they can't spend that money that the Cowboys spend, they can go out and draft Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. It gives them a chance. But so I do think there's going to need to be some kind of regulation. But
agree,
Swain, I thought you made all good points, and you know that point about Spry. I mean, you know, fans are going out here. Y'all go out here and spend $20-$30 on McDonald's hamburgers a month. If just think if you just did like the size of this fan base, if we could get a good portion of it, just donating $5 or $10 a month. I know not everybody can afford that, but if you could afford more, great. But $5 or $10 a month, that adds up to millions quickly. You know, when you consider the size of this fan base and you have a good portion of them doing that, $5 to $10 a month is going to add up to millions pretty quickly for NIL money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll pay $10 a month if that means we can start competing at the elite level again and getting the right players. I mean, sign me up. So I don't think that's a big ask.
Yeah. Keep your eyes open for that, Jay. I mean, there may be some opportunities for everyone to participate, and Tennessee will be able to compete without the involvement of fans. They'll be able to compete, but do you want to compete or do you want to create a wave? Do you want to use one of our greatest strengths as a fan base? Because not every fan base can do what Tennessee can do. So do you want to use one of our advantages, one of our superpowers, or do you want to throw the superpower in the closet and not use it? So when you hear fan involvement being mentioned with NIL, it's not that, oh man, they're relying on fans. That's when you know it's bad. No, it's to be even better and take it to the next level. There's big money secured already from donors for NIL. But if you want to take it to the next level, then this is what we can do too.
Yes, people saying that people are not stepping up are just wrong.
They're wrong. And I wish they would stop doing it because all they're doing is hurting their credibility.
Yes.
I mean, the more they say it, the more it's like, how are you a Tennessee insider?
It's not a Jason Swain opinion. It is not a Ben McKee opinion. It is not an Austin Price opinion. It's fact. It is simply fact that like Tennessee's in a good spot when it comes to NIL. They just haven't. The football program is not yet in a position to fully take advantage of it, but they will be, and it is simply fact. And people saying otherwise are just simply wrong. It's not an opinion. It's straight facts. And I have not heard a bad word about Tennessee and NIL over the last couple of months. Have you?
No, not from people in the know. I got an example for you. Because this is what's going on too. Ben, if you say, Swain, give me $1,000 right now. And I say, no, I'm not giving you $1,000. You can then go out and be like, oh man, Swain broke. He don't have $1,000. He broke, man. He don't have $1,000. No, I just don't want to give you the $1,000. That is going on.
But I need it. I'm going to be a dad.
that is going on now too with NIL. So you have folks who are trying to get deals through Tennessee with NIL. Their value doesn't warrant what they are asking for. The responses are no to them. They're turning it into, well, Tennessee don't know what they're doing with NIL. No, Tennessee know what they're doing with NIL. They don't want to give you the money that you are asking for.
It's no offense to you or me, but ESPN is not calling us today and giving us Stephen A. money.
No, there's a pecking order
because
not everybody deserves the same bag.
Now, I think that the SEC Network needs to call you now that Gene Chizik is out of there. That they need another analyst. I think you would do a great job. But you're not going to command Paul Feinbaum money or Marty Smith money or Peter Burns money.
Those are good ones right there.
Like SEC Network is not going to give you that type of if you're asking for Paul Feinbaum money right off the bat, they're not going to give it to you.
No.
Because you are talented, but you're not Paul Feinbaum.
No.
So it's just I continue to be baffled by the NIL conversation amongst Tennessee fans because some of y'all just do not want to listen.
Or to listen to the wrong folks who don't know what they're talking about.
That too.
So, Knox News, Adam Sparks put out a couple minutes ago, actually, top of the hour. Tennessee football has committed NCAA violation when recruits were on Vol Walk before Ole Miss game. Committed minor NCAA violation when the recruits walked along the pregame path of the Vol Walk before the Ole Miss game. I remember that. And UT basketball committed another violation because a recruit dribbled a ball on the Thompson Bowling Arena court during a photo shoot. So during a photo shoot, the recruit dribbled a ball, and that made it a violation. Can't make this stuff up.
The NCAA is so stupid.
Those unusual instances were among 3 infractions reported by UT Athletics in the second half of 2021, according to a document obtained by Knox News. This is nothing. Anytime you get level 3 and guys are self-reporting, your schools are self-reporting, I mean, this is nothing. This is not a biggie. Media's doing their job by reporting the information. So don't get mad, folks. Don't get mad at the newspaper for reporting this. This is their job. This is what they're supposed to do. But it's nothing. This is nothing. It's not a big deal. It's worth talking about briefly, but it's not a big deal. Cancel your Netflix, give it to the Vols. you gotta do that. No, you ain't gotta do that, man. You gotta do that. Hey, man, if folks want to keep beating that NIL issues and people not stepping up drum, go for it. They just letting y'all know they don't know what they're talking about and not in the know. And I got a meeting on Wednesday.
Can I come?
Yeah.
So you mean tomorrow?
It's tomorrow Wednesday? Yeah.
Russ hits the nail on the head here as well. What part of Danny White's track record would make people think UT isn't on the proactive cutting edge of NIL? The man is always ahead of the game, and Russ is spot on. But remember, Russ, people don't think Danny White is good at his job because he said the fans were too negative in the text to Buddy. One of the best athletic directors in the country, and some folks around Tennessee just refuse to believe it. Because he said text the Buddy.
Fan involvement definitely helps NIL players like money, but they also like knowing they are appreciated. There are ways that you can help now. Book a Zoom call, greet and meet, skills count, what Focus, Akai, buy Kenny Chandler or Brandon Huntley Hatfield t-shirt or Tamara Key or Jordan Horston shirt. Lots of ways for fans show their support to current players that deserve it. That may not help with future recruits, but it definitely help keep people from transferring in the future. It helps with future recruits too. That's a good message for all fans. It helps.
They see that and they want to.
Yeah.
Like, if Tennessee should be pointing out Hendon Hooker's ABC book, and how Tennessee fans jumped on that, and that's just really a small thing.
Yeah, and Tennessee wants to be different too, because Tennessee wants to help educate these young men on what to do with their money and how to handle their money when they get it, not just give them money. Now, Tennessee is not officially giving players money because you can't do that, but the education part is something that Tennessee can provide. They can't provide the deals and things like that. That's a third party. That's Spire Sports Group. So I don't know what other schools are doing as far as education. I do know that Tennessee wants to do that and not just give you the money. They want to actually teach you how to fish. They don't want to just give you the fish. They want to teach you how to fish and how to eat with it, not just blow it, because you know some guys are going to do that too. So let's go back to the phones.
We've got Volstorm.
Volstorm, good morning, my friend.
Boys, how we doing?
Wonderful.
You know, when you get all up in your emotions, you can either text a buddy or be like Ben and allow your voice to get higher and go on long rant.
I love that too.
I'm not Charlie Burst.
I love that too.
Hey, you got up all in your feelings last week, so.
About what?
About
Harrison Bailey. Yeah.
That Harrison Bailey and how people say that you don't have any original takes and all this, that, and the other. I heard you get up in your feelings. I've been listening.
I think you're making stuff up right now.
That ain't no problem. That ain't no problem. Do we need to go to the tape?
About the second part, yes. And I was playing radio when we were discussing Harrison Bailey.
Sure.
Oh yeah,
you
turned it up on that one.
He went to UNLV. Five-star quarterback.
Where he goes.
5-star quarterback who grew up 45 minutes from Atlanta or Athens.
Quit in the middle of the season to go to UNLV. That lets you know kind of where we are with the portal. But what's up, Volstorm? That's not why you called.
That ain't why I called. Hell, Swain, let me ask you a question.
All right.
Especially with with the NIL deals, and you now have a great opportunity for fans to get involved. Does that raise the level of scrutiny?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. But if you have the structure, you have the organization, then it all checks out. It's all.
I meant scrutiny on the field.
Hell yeah. Always.
You know,
look at Rick Barnes.
Is everybody going to get up in their feelings when Tennessee makes a bad call or player does something and the crowd starts booing? Is everybody going to get up in their feelings then?
Well, that's why it's important for not everybody to know every little detail about these players' deals. Like
what?
Yeah, that's why if I'm a player, I don't want everyone to know exactly how much I'm making. I wouldn't even want my teammates to know because of that. I don't want them to try to go back and be like, oh man, this guy's getting this, I should be getting that. Like that's my business. Like my money is my business, and hopefully these guys all over the country understand that and realize that, man, you need to keep some things to your damn self, and your money is one of them. The amount of money that's in your pocket, keep it to yourself. Because you never know the reason why somebody's asking you how much you got. They want what you have.
When you got a player out there bragging, and I'm not saying that UT, but when you got a player out there bragging, they're making 6 or 7 figures off a NIL deal, and then they won't even stretch out for a damn pass.
That'll be a problem because I'll be the first one that's critical. I'll be the first one that's critical.
Well, I mean, you've been, you've said from the jump, but long before NIL was even in existence, that you didn't have a problem with people, booing players that weren't, that weren't putting effort in. It's one thing if you're putting in the effort, the play just goes bad. Stuff happens. But if you can clearly see, like some of the past coaches' teams where it's like, hell, they don't even care.
Hey, man, no effort, boo their ass.
That's right. Guys, before I go, the last thing I would want is somebody handling my money who would prefer $5 over a damn $10 lunch. Damn it!
He got you on that one, Ben.
No, he didn't, because what he didn't take into consideration is that I don't want to spend an hour with you more than I already have to. So I'll just take the $5 and go home.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense right there. Oh, man. I don't understand the reference here, Jason Finneborough, what you're trying to say on the text box, but there's a lot of ideas that Spire has going, and you can email them. When we had James on the program, he gave you guys his email. Like, he's a fan just like you. He just has experience in marketing, and he has connections to make this thing go and help Tennessee. So we have clients of the Swain Event that's already reached out to Spire. We have clients of the Swain Event that's already working with Spire. So we all in this together. You have a great idea, shoot it over.
High School Musical style?
Shoot it over.
All in this together.
We are, man. Shoot it over. Shoot it over. And if it makes sense, man, they'll do it. They'll do it. They will do it. Y'all, please be careful about where you get your NIL information from. I literally work with Spire all football season. Like, I work with those guys all football. One of Spire's biggest deals was Tennessee Prime. So get your information from the right source. Like, I'd at least do that. And if he was struggling, I would not lie and sugarcoat things. I mean, I wouldn't do that. I don't do that. I haven't done it. I would gotta tell you guys so that way we can work together to fix it. But please, y'all, just get your information from the right spot. I ain't saying I'm the only place where we tell the truth, but just be careful. Just be careful, because when it comes to this NIL stuff, it's not on the.
Some of y'all being misled and look silly.
Some of y'all are correctly being. Yeah, you're right. You're being misled. So there's some things can't get in detail about. Have to speak vague on, but again, work with the guys all football season. So we're all on the same team here, guys. We're trying to do something different here for different results. Trying to do something a little different. That is not burn down our own house. 865-250-503 is our number. Always to the Irish Networks hotline. Hour 3 is powered by Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Guys, go to lowtcenter.com. Check out a location nearest to you. Make sure you take advantage of the promotion going on at Low T Center. $155 a month for self-inject testosterone treatments, or covered by most health insurance. Find the nearest location to you. Start with the comprehensive health assessment. Know all your numbers. Know what you need to do. Start feeling like you again. That is Low T Center and lowtcenter.com. Hope y'all have a great day. Peace and love. We are out. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.